Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Back at you with a new video. Today is Monday, October 13th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App, $ORIONNWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Seattle Mariners versus the Toronto Blue Jays, ALCS game number 2. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 7 to 8 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Monday, everyone. On the left, best catcher in the game, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And on the right, superstar first baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners in left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting second, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting third, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, second baseman, Jorge Palanco. Batting fifth, playing first base, Josh Naylor. Batting sixth, playing third base, Eugenio Suarez. Good vibes only. Batting seventh, DHing for Seattle, Dominic Canzone. Batting eighth, playing right field, Victor Robles. And batting ninth, playing shortstop, J.P. Crawford. And on the mound for the Mariners, it's Walter, a.k.a. Logan Gilbert. And now let's get into the starting lineups for the home Toronto Blue Jays. Leading off for the Blue Jays at DH, George Springer. Batting second, playing right field, Nathan Lucas. Batting third, playing first base, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, third baseman, Addison Barger. Batting fifth, catching today for the Blue Jays, Alejandro Kirk. Batting sixth, playing center field, Dalton Varsho. Batting seventh, playing second base, Ernie Clement. Batting eighth, playing left field, Davis Schneider. And batting ninth, playing shortstop, Andres Jimenez. And on the mound for the Blue Jays will be Trey Yesavage. Trident's up, seize the day, and we're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on the Dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. We're only 70 subs away from 23,000, so I think we're going to have a very good chance on hitting that either today or possibly in Game 3 when it goes back to Seattle, I believe, on Wednesday. So definitely excited to see where it goes. Just some insights on the team. Brian Wu ended up having some sessions this morning. They've already announced the starters for the Mariners in Game 3 and Game 4. Game 3 will be George Kirby. Game 4 will be Luis Castillo. And depending on how Wu feels, he'll either be the starter in Game 5 or he may be pitching from the pen with less innings, just kind of depending on how that pec feels. Any way that we can get Wu, as long as he's good, I think that's all that matters. Obviously, we've proven that we can win in the playoffs without Wu. We would love to have him. But again, we don't want to rush it and throw him out there too soon and then ends up, having a nightmare, giving up 5 runs in the first inning and we lose. So we want to tread softly with Brian Wu. And the only other injury update not for us, but for the Toronto Blue Jays. Anthony Santander should be in the lineup, obviously in left field, but had some back tightness this morning, so he's a scratch. And now we have Davis Schneider filling in the 8-hole for his position. So we know that quite a few hitters, Springer, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Alejandro Kirk, and Santander have hit Logan well in the past. But now, instead of having to worry about the 4 individuals, now it goes down to 3. We know George Springer hit that home run, first pitch from Bryce Miller, but the rest of the team went 1 for 28 after, only 2 hits total. So I would assume, the hitting is going to be a little bit better here today for Toronto, but I still believe that the hitting can still be good for the Seattle Mariners as well. We obviously took game 1 where no one thought that we would be able to win, and now we're here to try to take game 2. And if we go up 2-0 in the series, with 3 games in Seattle at T-Mobile, game 3, game 4, and game 5, it would definitely put us in a very good position to be able to end it in game 4 or game 5 if we played well. But again, we don't know how things are going to play out, so to speak. We have to, go in it day by day, pitch by pitch. And again, I like our chances here today. Even if the Blue Jays offense is a little bit more powerful than 2 hits yesterday, let's get the job done. And I think the only complaint that we have about this game is that it's on at 2:03 Pacific time. There's a lot of people, whether they be at work or school or they have other obligations, that they may or may not be able to watch this in peace. I imagine there's going to be a lot of lunch breaks, bathroom breaks, and people asking to leave early. This is a must-win game, and hopefully we can get the job done here early today. Dio in the building, what's good? Mike in the building, what's good? Woody in the building, what's good? Marine Bean in all day, what's good? Mike in the building, Daniel in the building. Let's get it, baby. Brother in the building, DKJ, Mountain Man in the building, let's go. Reflect in the building. Let's get it. And Woo looked pretty good, obviously, this morning, based on the video that I saw. But again, the earliest you're going to see Woo would be potentially, game 5 as the starter. But if he's not feeling it, then they may move him into the pen at some point in the series, whether that be, game 3, game 4, game 5. We don't know. But again, nice to have him on the ALCS roster. And, I can't wait for him to get back on the mound. And Bichette has been out for a long, long time. And again, they have him off the ALCS roster based off that injury. And, even if the Blue Jays were to advance, no guarantee that he would even be ready going into the World Series. So, and again, anytime you end up having issues, with upper body, lower body, your knee, it's one of those things that Bo has had to struggle with this year. And obviously that's a good sign for us Mariner fans, that that's one less player that we got to worry about. But again, prayers up for Bo, hopefully that he gets better. I don't wish injuries on anybody. And I'm hoping that we can square off here today on a good foot early. And hopefully we can get some good runs, RBIs and home runs. We know Savage is a beast, right? 11 Ks against the Yankees, went from single A to the big leagues in a matter of months. This is one of their, top guys, if not their top guy. Compared to Gossman yesterday, those are the top 2. And let's get it, baby. Savage on the mound. And Randy Arozarena in the box. First pitch in there for a strike. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Low and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Bricks and joysticks in the building. What's good? Let's go, baby. Top of the first inning, 0-0, Mariners and Blue Jays. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Savage to Randy Arozarena. 1-2 pitch. In there for a strike in the zone, but called ball for whatever reason. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees by Yasavage. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arosarena. Let's go, baby. We got a strike. And that is ball 4. Let's go. Oh, that's actually hit by pitch. Wow. Okay. There we go. We'll take that. And again, we know Randy is taking over that role, obviously, as the new Ty France. And obviously that hurts, to have guys getting plunked. But this could be the beginning of a mini meltdown from Yasavage early, who is considered their best pitcher on the staff right now, Gossman number 2. But below those 2 guys, it gets pretty thin for them, as well as in the bullpen. Randy to first after getting hit in the elbow. Looks like he's okay. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And we know how good Cal has been with Jorge Palanco as of late. First pitch to big dumper, fouls it off, high and away, 0-1 count. Let's go, baby. Trident sub. Let's go, M. Seize the moment. Seattle leads the series 1-0 from their victory yesterday. George Springer had a home run, but they went 1 for 28 for the rest of their batters. And again, Jorge Palanco showing that he is the most clutch player in the MLB playoffs in 2025. Not just what he did yesterday, but with the Tarek Skubal, 2 home runs, and obviously what he did in Game 5 in the ALDS in the 15th inning, and continues to stay hot for us yesterday, driving in 2. We love Jorge Palanco. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. 1-1 pitch, low and away. Splitter missing there by Yasavage. 2 balls and 1 strike to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Cal. Two-one pitch, high and away with the 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. 3 balls and 1 strike from Yasavage to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go. Wish this was on at 5, if I'm being honest. I know we can still win in the early afternoon. I just kind of feel bad for a lot of my friends that are at work that are having to kind of sneak away to watch this game and whatnot. But, hopefully they'll have something to sneak around for on the positive end for the Seattle Mariners this afternoon. 3-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. As that one gets fouled back to the Google Cloud sign there in Toronto. Top of the first inning, 0-0 Mariners and Blue Jays. ALCS 2025 game number 2. Seattle up 1-0. We win here today. We're going to have a very good chance of winning in 4 or 5 since the next 3 games are in Seattle. And we have a walk. Here we go. A mini meltdown by, their best pitcher right now, 11 Ks, but this is a lot of pressure being in the ALCS. And obviously we wore down Gossman, which he probably should have stayed in the game a little bit later. They decided to pull him. The bullpen was terrible. We took advantage. And now you hit Randy, first batter, not a good start. You walk Cal, and it's not intentional. The meltdown is starting already. I love it. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. And again, we're going to have Logan Gilbert, obviously, here today. George Kirby, game 3 in Seattle. Luis Castillo, game 4. And then Brian Wu, potentially the starter in game 5 or coming out of the pen if he's not ready yet for a full game workload. First pitch takes a strike, looking low and away to Julio Rodriguez, 0-1 count. And again, this guy went from single A to the big leagues in a matter of months, and normally that does not happen. So a lot of pressure, and he killed it against the Yankees with 11 Ks, but we're not the Yankees. We're the Seattle Mariners. We're built a little different. We're still playing here today in 2025. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. And I have a feeling you're going to see, some similarities with Yasavage and Logan, when they're trying to end up hitting their spots and it'll go into the dirt right in front of the catcher. We've seen Logan kind of pull his whole body into certain pitches. And just like that, back, see ya! Julio Rodriguez down in left field, and it is gone. 3-0 Mariners. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Our time. It's our time. Let's go. 3-0 Mariners. Let's go, Julio. You're the man. And that's the best start that you could have asked for Julio Rodriguez. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And obviously we know, Julio, you're the man. Randy Arosarena. Let's go, baby. And that's exactly what we like to see right out of the gates. 3-0. We hit them with an uppercut, and they are stunned. And the whole crowd is dead silent in the first inning. I love it. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle to Jorge Palanco. No balls and 2 strikes from Yesavage DePolo. And again, they were assuming Yesavage was going to go, potentially 5, 6, 7 innings. If it keeps going like this, we'll be out by the 4th. And then if we can beat up their, weak bullpen, this one could be a very high scoring affair. Great job for Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, baby. 0-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Low and away. A rare strikeout for Jorge Palanco, but with everything that he's done up to this point, I think we can live with that. Next up, fatherhood looks great on you. It's Nails, the big grumper, Josh Naylor. Let's go, Josh. You couldn't have asked for a better start for the Seattle Mariners here in the top of the first inning with a 3-run blast that we could have used yesterday, but we found a way to win. Even though we didn't challenge Cal sliding into home early in the matchup, we still ended up finding a way to victory. And it looks like we're looking for Seattle, here in the horizon very shortly. Big swing and a miss, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, low and away. That one goes towards that third base line. Jordan in the building, what's good? No balls and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. Mariners Dodgers World Series 2025. Let's go. Let's go. And again, being able to get Randy hit and then having Cal get walked for Julio to hit not just a solo dinger, but to make him pay early with a 3-run blast. Fucking crazy. Pitch is high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. And we're due for one of those big 3-run jacks. It's been a minute. 1-2 pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. Trident's up, seize the moment. Let's go, M's. Thank God for Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, baby. And we were so critical of him, in the first part of the season, every single year. He's been in this league, but no one can doubt or argue, that Julio Rodriguez, when it becomes after the All-Star break, he morphs into the best center fielder in the game. And I am so happy he's on our team, the Seattle Mariners. Beautiful. Top of the first inning, 3-0 Mariners with 1 out. Yesavage on the mound having a mini meltdown, and that's exactly what we wanted. And Josh Naylor in the box. One-two pitch, fouled off behind the plate to the Google Cloud sign. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. And Naylor singles to center. There we go, baby. Make him pay. Nice job by Josh. Fatherhood looks good on you, baby. Let's go. Next up, third baseman Eugenio Suarez. 2-run blast, making it 5-0 in the first. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train. And we need 70 subs to hit 23,000. Let's go. Trey Savage on the mound. Eugenio Suarez in the box. First pitch to Gino, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. I mean, especially when the next 3 games are going to be in Seattle and we're the best team with the best home record, since the All-Star break at home. So again, doesn't mean that we can't lose at home. Of course we can. We know that, the games have to be earned and it's going to take everything that we got, but we feel very confident at home, that we got the best home field advantage out of the 4 teams that are left in this tourney. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Eugenio Suarez. I think you might be in the wrong place, my guy. There's a lot of other Blue Jay streams that you guys can have misery together. This ain't the place for you. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And that is 2 away. Next up, DHing Dominic Canzone. Blue Jay tears can be cried somewhere else, not here. It's not our problem that your starter ended up having a meltdown and giving up 3 in the first. It's not our fault that you guys didn't come to play and went 1 for 28 after that home run after Springer. That's not our fault. We came to play. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dominic Canzone. And Naylor, and standing up at second, safe. Let's go. Another swipe bag for Josh Naylor, showing how important he really is. He might be by far the biggest Husky MLB player swiping bags. I don't think I've ever seen a player of his size, be so good at the jump. Great baseball IQ, but not only that, only getting picked off twice. Unbelievable. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, low and at the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and that is out number 3. Savage finally ends up getting out of the first inning, but not after the damage was done. You hit Randy on the elbow, that was the start of the end. Then you walked Big Dumper, thank you very much, runners at first and second. And then Julio Rodriguez, with no doubt, hits a blast into left field, and that ended up going 370 feet, 3-0 Seattle. Let's go. It's exactly what we needed, to strike early and to get the crowd out of the game right out of the gates. On the mound for the Mariners, it's Walter, a.k.a. Logan Gilbert. Leading off at DH, George Springer. Batting second, right fielder Nathan Lucas. And batting third, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Trident's up, seize the moment. Let's go, our time. Marcos in the building, what's good? Cool Kid in the building, what's good? Like, sub, donate, comment, share. You haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train, and we need 70 subs to hit 23,000. Let's go. Looks like we just broke 5 million views on the channel as well, on some of the stats that are coming up on my end here. And again, it's been a long time coming, and again, for the first 5 million views, obviously we're going to be, going for 10 million, 15 million, 20 million. It's just a matter of grinding and staying consistent here on the channel. And again, you couldn't have asked for a better start, for the Seattle Mariners. And thankfully, Julio Rodriguez came to play. Let's go to the bottom of the first, 3-0 Seattle. And again, we know Bryce Miller threw one pitch right down the middle. Springer, hit that home run, but they only had one hit after that. And again, no Anthony Santander, no Bo Bichette. Obviously, we don't have one of our weapons in Brian Wu accessible at the moment, but we want to make sure we take advantage of every situation we can. First pitch from Gilbert to Springer. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. We're doing it for Dave. My, oh my. He's definitely smiling down from baseball heaven watching this Seattle Mariner team in 2025, you best believe. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Springer. He would be so proud of what we've been able to put together here, Dave Niehaus. 1-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle by George Springer. Logan Gilbert on the mound, Springer in the box. 1 ball and 2 strikes here in the bottom of the first inning with a 3-0 Mariner lead. Randy got plunked on the elbow. Cal got walked. Julio went into left field and crushed one, 370 feet, 3-0 Mariners. Victoria in the building, what's good? 1-2 pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to George Springer. Let's go, baby. Coy in the building, what's good? 1-2 pitch, high and away with the curveball, off speed, 83 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes to George Springer. And it's crazy, too, because, my dad has been a Dodger fan since the 1950s, and he normally doesn't message me, too often about the Mariners, but he did send me a message yesterday on how good that we looked. And, again, could be a sign of things to come if we can get a Dodger-Seattle World Series possibly. As Springer crushes that one, but foul. He got all of that one there, and that would have been 3-1 in a heartbeat. Bottom of the first inning, 3-0 Seattle. And I'm very happy that decided to go foul. And we know how good of a year George Springer has had. He definitely has had a rebirth in his career if you look at his stats from last year to this year. And next pitch popped up. And that's going to stay in play. No, off the wall. Get it, Randy, run. And that's going to be a stand-up double for George Springer. Great hit there by George. He's been locked in all year in 2025, but let's see if we can prevent him from coming home. Next up, right fielder Nathan Lucas. We're looking for a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. On deck is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. First pitch from Gilbert to Lucas, fouls it off right down the middle. 0-1 count. Let's go, Logan. Let's go, Walter. Settle in after giving up that double. .308 average, no homers, 5 ribbies for Nathan Lucas early. And a little slow dribbler right there up the middle. And wild throw to first. And just like that, George Springer comes home. We got to be not sloppy. And just like that, 3-1 Seattle. Come on, Ems. We can't be playing ball like it's an exhibition game in March, We have to be better there. And that was a great hit there by Nathan Lucas. Kind of put us in no man's land, and definitely that throw was not ideal. Nice job by Lucas. Springer comes home. Next up is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. First pitch fouled off, high and away, 0-1 count. And there goes Vladdy's bat as that one goes foul. And you would have to assume the Blue Jays are going to get possibly more hits and runs that they had yesterday. But I don't know. I don't think that they're taking into account on how locked in we are right now as far as the Seattle Mariners as well. So obviously this is a must-win game for Toronto. We know we're playing with house money, but obviously getting that 3-run blast early set the tone. And now we just have to try to quiet the crowd. 0-1 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Let's go, Logan. 1 ball and 1 strike to Vladdy. Bottom of the first inning, 3-1 Seattle. Looks like we might have a pitch comm issue or something. And Vladdy grounds out to the shortstop. Lucas to third, safe. And that is 1 away. Nice job by JP. Good defense as always. Next up, third baseman Addison Barger. They got a runner at third. Let's keep him there. 3-1 Seattle lead here in the first inning. And they have 1 out. Barger in the box. Alejandro Kirk on deck. All right, baby, settle down, settle in. I'm glad that we don't have to wait, 4, 5, 6 innings to get that first run on the board. And it's always great when you can get, a 2-run jack or a 3-run bomb, to kind of set the tone. But again, normally our pitching and defense have been pretty good. And that was just a good ball by Lucas, kind of in no man's land. And as you get the pitcher trying to cover first, you got to make sure whoever's got that ball, whether it be Naylor or Polo, that the throw is accurate. And, since the throw was wild, that brought home Springer. First pitch, slow dribbler, and that one's going foul towards first base, 0-1 count. Bottom of the first inning, 3-1 Seattle. 0-1 pitch, fouls that one off. No balls and 2 strikes to Addison Barger. Let's go, baby. 0-2 pitch, low and away, missing the strike zone badly there by 3-4 feet. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Addison Barger. One-two pitch, low and away, splitter missing again, off speed, 81 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Addison Barger. 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and that is 2 away. There we go, Logan, my boy. Way to bring that electricity. We need that. Nice punch out there by Logan Gilbert. Next up for Logan, in the 5-hole, catcher Alejandro Kirk. Let's leave this guy stranded at third. They got 1. That's enough. And obviously shooting for 5 to 10 runs is realistic since we already have 3 in the first inning because Julio Rodriguez decided to go yard and set the tone to try to quiet the crowd. Obviously, they started to get loud after that throwing error that scored Springer, but, they're definitely a bit in shock. And a hit in the gap, and that's going to bring in another run. And now we have 3-2 Seattle. Nice RBI there by Alejandro Kirk. Nathan Lucas coming in from third, and this one's going to be a war, as we can see. 3-2 Seattle. Next up, center fielder Dalton Varsho. First pitch to Varsho, lines out to right. Victor Robles is there, and that is out number 3. I'm not sure if anyone anticipated or had 5 runs being scored combined in the first inning, but it definitely makes for some excitement for the game being on early at 2 o'clock Pacific. And again, we saw it kind of, be a grinded out game yesterday, and we were able to get that victory, but obviously we had to wait for Cal the homer, and then we obviously had to wait for Polo to bring in both of those runs, and we won 3-1. But we already are at 5 runs combined at the end of the first inning, 3-2 Seattle. And let's see if we can add on a run in this inning or the next to get a little bit more insurance and a little bit more cushion on the lead. Next up for the Mariners in the 8-hole, right fielder Victor Robles. Batting second, shortstop in the 9-hole, J.P. Crawford. And back at the top of the order, who got hit by a pitch on his elbow, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Trident's up. Let's go M's. And they've already named Kirby as the starter for Game 3 on Wednesday at T-Mobile in Seattle. And Luis Castillo is the starter for Game 4. And they're going to wait on Wu in the next few days to see if he's able to be the starter in Game 5. And if not, they potentially could move him to the bullpen to help us win at some point in the series. Trey Savage on the mound. Victor Robles in the box. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 200 likes, 100 on the dono train. And we need 70 subs to be able to get to 23,000. Let's go. Okay, we gained 6 subs since the commercial break. 64 to go to hit 23,000. Let's go. And if you go back and look at the, matchups, they do hit Logan Gilbert pretty well. Typically against guys like Springer, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Alejandro Kirk, and Anthony Santander, who had back tightness, so he was a late scratch. Those 4 guys, have Logan's number, so to speak. And, there's going to be times where against certain players, your ERA might be like 4 or 5 rather than 3 or under that we would like. But again, it's just about managing each inning the best that we can. First pitch from Savage to Robles, takes a strike looking, high and inside. 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away with a slider, off speed, 87 miles an hour from Savage. 1 ball and 1 strike to Victor Robles. Let's go, Victor. One pitch, low and away, off-speed slider missing again. 2 balls and 1 strike to Victor Robles. Two 1 pitch, and Robles lines out to right, and that is 1 away. Appreciate you. Next up is J.P. Crawford. First pitch to JP Crawford, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to JP. Let's go. Monkey Kung Fu in the building. What's good? 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Victoria says we're at 94. 6 more to get to 100. Let's get to 2. 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Let him know all day. 2-1 pitch and popped out to the shortstop. Down goes JP, and that is 2 away. Next up is left fielder Randy Arozarena, who got plunked on the elbow in his first at-bat. Cal got walked, and Julio hit a 3-run jack to give us the 3-0 lead. But just in a blink of an eye, the Blue Jays punch back, and we got a 3-2 matchup. It's going to be a war here in the ALCS game number 2 here in Toronto. First pitch is low and away. Slider off speed, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 95 miles an hour there by Savage. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. All day, and Victoria says we got it. We got to 100. Great job. Appreciate you guys, the mods and the regulars in the room. It's a team effort. Let's see if we can get to 2. And we only need 64 subs to hit 23,000. We just hit the 5 million view mark on the channel, which is great. Next goal will be 10 million, and we'll keep it moving. 2-1 pitch. Takes a strike swinging right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. I mean, Randy making that big catch in left field alone was fantastic for me. You know, considering we know that he's got issues with that. And takes a strikeout looking for out number 3. Down goes Randy, and Savage is starting to try to come back from the mini meltdown that he had in the first and had a very good second inning there. 3-2 Seattle. Gained a few more subs, 3 more, 61 to go to 23,000. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired already. And let's see who's up next for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the second. Next up for the Blue Jays in the 7-hole, second baseman Ernie Clement. Batting second, playing left field, filling in for Anthony Santander, who had back tightness early this morning and was a late scratch. Coming in to replace him, Davis Schneider. And batting third in the 9-hole, shortstop Andres Jimenez. Let's go, Logan. Settle down and settle in. And hopefully those are the only 2 runs that Logan gives up here today. Trident's up. Let's go, M. Seize the moment. Papa Don in the building. What's good? Appreciate you. Bottom of the second inning, 3-2 Seattle. Three runs, 2 hits, and an error for Seattle. 2 runs, 3 hits, and no errors for Toronto. So just a quick breakdown if you're just hopping into the room to see how the hell did we get to 5 runs already. So the game started off with Savage being a little shaky. Randy got hit on the elbow, went to first. Cal got walked, and then Julio came up and hit a 3-run jack into left field, 370 feet. 3-0 Seattle. That quieted the crowd momentarily. And then obviously as the Blue Jays came up, Nathan Lucas reached on an infield single to first. Springer scored on a throwing error by Naylor to obviously Logan at first, and that ended up making it 3-1. And then Alejandro Kirk later in the inning, single to center in the gap. Lucas ended up scoring, and now we're sitting at a 3-2 matchup. We had more offense in that first inning than we did that whole game in ALCS Game 1, but no matter if it's going to be a low-scoring affair like yesterday or, potentially a high-scoring affair here today, the Mariners can win on all aspects of the game. We just need to hope that Logan settles in, and we have to hope that the bullpen will be good. We might be able to have a mini meltdown by a bullpen pitcher on the Blue Jays here and there, and then we can make sure that we have guys like Polo and others that can take advantage. First pitch popped up out of line, and that one goes into the crowd. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, big swing and a miss by Ernie Clement, low and away. Nasty splitter there, 78 miles an hour off speed by Walter, aka Logan Gilbert. Beautiful. No balls and 2 strikes to Ernie Clement. Let's go. 0-2 pitch in play, and Clement with a single. Come on, Logan. And a nice hit there by Ernie up the middle. Next up is Davis Schneider. So we need a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. Give me a slow dribbler right up to JP, a throw to Naylor, and then we'll have 2 away. Let's go. First pitch, high and inside. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. 1 count. Bottom of the second inning, 3-2 Mariner lead with a runner at first and no outs. One-0 pitch, and Schneider grounds out to first. There's no play to get 2, but we'll take 1, and that is 1 away. Next up for Logan Gilbert, in the 9-hole, Andres Jimenez. First pitch, fouls it off low and away, 0-1 count. Blue Jay in the building, what's good? I mean, you wouldn't anticipate Bryce Miller, being our, 5th guy out of 5 in the rotation out pitching Logan. But again, Miller was on fire besides that home run that he gave up in play. Little flip and an appropriate flip to Logan Gilbert. And that is 2 away as he turns his shoulder quickly to keep that runner stranded at third. And now we got a runner at third threatening with 2 outs. Next up is George Springer. Got to be very careful because we know with Springer, he's had a fantastic breakthrough year. And again, in any swing, he can end up getting an RBI single, RBI double, or a home run. So you definitely have to be careful on how you pitch to George Springer, potentially more than anybody else in the lineup besides maybe Vladdy. We know that those guys can come up with big plays at any given moment. And again, they had 1 home run out of George Springer and then went 1 for 28 afterwards with the rest of the team. Only 2 hits. That obviously didn't happen today, but we can match their pace and go toe-to-toe, hit for hit, run for run if we need to. First pitch, high and away, 1-0 count. Logan Gilbert on the mound, George Springer in the box. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Logan. 1 ball and 1 strike, runner at third with 2 outs, 3-2 Mariner lead. Yeah, but if you watched him last year and then saw the changes that he made this year, it's almost a night and day difference, based on the player. And that's a big reason why they're here today. If Springer played like he did last year, the Blue Jays would have never made the ALCS. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to George Springer. Again, we always are going to have to deal with Astro players or former Astro players that come back to bite us, whether it be Tucker, Bregman, or Springer. And then obviously we know how we feel about Jose Altuve on the Astros, so that will never change. Bottom of the second, 3-2 Seattle, runner at third with 2 outs. Let's keep them stranded at third. Easier said than done when you got a very hot hitter in George Springer in the box. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to George Springer. And man, he is just crushing baseballs whenever he gets a hold of them. Come on, Walter. Come on, Logan. Two-two pitch. Low and away. Should have been probably strike 3 right there, and another call that we don't get that's in the box. And again, I'm always going to keep track on how many pitches that we have that are in the zone, and the ump has already missed 2 for Seattle in these first 2 innings. And a lot of times, if the pitch, could have been, strike 3 and an out, and then you let the bat continue, and then it ends up being, a walk or a run or an RBI or home run, that affects the outcome of games. Come on, ump. If you're going to call it like that, call it both ways. Pitch fouled off, low and in the zone. 3 balls and 2 strikes to George Springer. And again, I don't care if anything is on the line. If it's on the line, it can go either way. There's no, really bitching or moaning about that, but again, 2 inches inside, 2 inches outside, high and low. But the stuff that makes us lose our lids is the stuff that's right in the box, and they don't call it. And now Springer gets walked 2 pitches later. Bullshit. Should have been strike 3. And now we got runners at first and third with 2 outs. And again, if you're going to be pitching it 2 inches outside, inside, high or low, so be it. But when it's in the box and it's clearly a strike and you decide to call it a ball just so the inning continues, come on. I mean, we better get that same type of calls on our end when you Savage's on the mound with our batters then. Next up is Nathan Lucas. First pitch, takes a strike looking on the line, 0-1 count. Bottom of the second, runners at first and third with 2 outs. I mean, it's one thing if it's a bad pitch and it's like the first pitch, for a ball or strike, that doesn't matter. But when it's like a 2-2 count and you decide to go ball when it's strike 3 and then the inning is over, that's what, causes rallies to happen. When you have one bad call, it could really change the outcome and the momentum of the game. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nathan Lucas. And we know how frustrated pitchers get when they don't get the calls as well. If they're starting to overthink, based on what the ump is calling. But we just got to try our best to put it behind us and hope that, when the Mariners are up to bat, we get the same respect. And Lucas in the gap, and that's going to bring in another run. And just like that, 3-3, where the inning should have already been over with 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and it was a strike 3 right there in the box. And then you let it go 2 more pitches, and what happens? A couple batters later, now the game is tied. Unbelievable. Next up is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Great job by the Blue Jays and a must-win game for them. Obviously a lot of pressure after losing game 1 where they thought they were going to easily beat us, based on that 15-inning ALDS Game 5 win. Jorge Palanco coming up as the hero. And again, I was a little shocked that they decided to go with Logan today. I was thinking maybe they would go a different direction, but obviously we know with Kirby and Castillo at home, their splits are going to be a little bit better than maybe Logan home and on the road, but we can't let them take the lead here. First pitch, high and away. 1-0 count. And if it's just going to be one of these games where Gilbert and Savage get tore the fuck up, let's match hit for hit, run for run with them. So, if they're going to score, we're going to score. And if it ends up being a 9-8 final, so be it, as long as we have 9 and they have 8 at the end. And I don't know if we anticipated it being like this, 3-3 early, but again, that's what makes baseball exciting. You never know what you're going to get on any given day. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Two-0 pitch, low and inside. Count now is 3 balls and no strikes to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And again, if we don't get things locked in here momentarily, we're going to be down by 1, 2, 3 runs in a heartbeat. Especially if we're not going to be getting the calls by the ump on top of it. So 3-0 pitch, and that should be ball 4. And what does he do? I don't know if it was a makeup call, decides to call that a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., except it's not the same, when it's 3-1, when it's a 2-2 and should have been strike 3 inning over. And then you let the game continue. And then especially when that happens, more times than not, when a team gets a second chance, they always capitalize. And it feels like it's like a 90% hit rate after, you get a call to go in your favor, you get a couple more pitches, and then you end up getting the big home run or RBI 1 or 2 batters later. Three-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and inside. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Guerrero Jr. Come on, baby. Come on, Logan. Yeah, but we've also been the benefit of, an ump not really being the greatest and having innings get extended for us as well. But again, are we going to get that today here? Is it going to be 50-50 on the calls, or is it going to be 70-30 Toronto with their backs against the wall in a must-win game here in Game 2? 3-2 pitch, fouled off. That goes behind the plate. Count still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners on the corners at first and third and 2 outs. We have a battle and a war. It's 3-3 here early in the bottom of the second. 3-2 pitch, fouled off with the splitter, off speed by Logan Gilbert, right down the middle. Count still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It makes you kind of wonder if we would have went with like Castillo instead, or Kirby. Would they have 3 right now? If Bryce Miller was able to be lights out, obviously that was one of the Bryce's best performances of the year, and thankfully we got it. But again, we have seen Logan, be kind of good and other times be a little shaky. But also you got to give credit to the Blue Jays. They're a great team, right? At some point, they're going to start hitting. When you're a good, hitting team, you might get skunked one game, but you're typically not going to get skunked, 2, 3 in a row. Eventually, you're going to figure it out. And obviously, you have a different pitcher that's going to be throwing at you in that next game as well. And there we go. Logan Gilbert. Vladdy grounds out to second, and we end up saving that opportunity that could have been very bad, where we could have ended up being down 4-3, 5-3, or 6-3. Good job by Polo. Throw to Naylor. And again, it's not ideal after you get a 3-run blast by Julio to see their team score, 3 runs in 2 innings after. But again, this is the type of war and battle that we're going to have to, go at. And now we just have to do our very best, with what we have to work with Logan, and just hope that the bats can continue to stay hot. And hopefully we can get some more support here from our batters in the top of the 3rd inning. Gained another 4 subs since the last commercial break. 57 subs to go to 23,000. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do. If you haven't subbed to the channel, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the Dono train. And now we only need 57 subs to hit 23,000. Let's see who's up next here for the Seattle Mariners in the top of the 3rd inning. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 0 with a run and a base on ball. Got walked in his first at bat. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting second, 1 for 1 with a 3-run blast and 3 ribbies already. You know who it is, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a K, second baseman, the most clutch player in the MLB playoffs, Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. So, no one said it was going to be easy to make it to the World Series. Trey Savage on the mound. Big dumper in the box. Yeah, Savage is already at 46 pitches, but guess what? That's what Logan Gilbert is at as well. 46 pitches, 28 strikes for Savage. Gilbert's at 46 pitches, 32 strikes. So 4 more strikes for Gilbert, to Savage, but the difference is Savage has got 4 Ks. Logan's only got 1. So we'll see where this kind of ends up. Both pitchers getting tore up early, and hopefully we'll be able to find a way to keep continuing to score runs. Not only here in the middle part of the matchup, but obviously late in the 7th, 8th, and the 9th. We're going to need it. First pitch, Cal, and flies out to right, and that is 1 away. Work the count, Cal. And we know that you can be a hero and, hit those big home runs and get those big singles, doubles, and RBIs, but work the count, my guy. 1 away. Next up is Julio Rodriguez, already fresh off a 3-run jack in the first inning. Can he do it again? Let's go, Julio. Savage on the mound. Julio in the box. First pitch high and away. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and away with the slider. 2 balls and no strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, but just because Vladdy hasn't got going yet doesn't mean that he won't. We know how dangerous this team is. They don't have Bo Bichette. They don't have Anthony Santander with the back tightness. Those are 2 other weapons that they normally have access to, as Savage ends up walking Julio on 4 pitches. But, we know Springer is locked in, and we've been able to see that already. But just because, Vladdy hasn't done it doesn't mean that he can't, at some point in the series, go like 3 for 5 with a home run, or potentially being a guy that, goes 4 for 5 or 4 for 6 in a game with 2 home runs. I mean, it's very possible at some point that he gets hot. We know how amazing of a player he is. We just have to be careful on how we pitch to him, just like how they're trying to be careful on how they pitch to Cal Raleigh. We know that these guys can do damage with 1 swing very quickly and change the landscape of an outcome of a game very quick. Down goes Julio to first, and next up is Polo. And a sharp hit ball, double play, and no throw to first as Julio slid in. We got the force out there at second, and that is 2 away. Polo safe at first. Next up is Josh Naylor. Naylor is due for a home run. It's been a minute since we've seen him get one, and I hope that he ends up getting one at some point in the series. Getting one right now would be epic. Let's go, Nails. Yeah, I mean, again, when we had 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs, and then you had strike 3 in the box and you call it ball, and then it extends the inning, 90% of the time when that happens, when you get ripped off on the inning is supposed to be over and it continues, usually runs are scored, and that's what happened. And there we go. Naylor with a nice single up the middle. Polo with some wheels, and he gets to third with this little bloop single that lands right in front of Varsho. Let's go. Nice job, Naylor. Nothing would make me happier unless Gino goes for a 3-run blast right here. 6-3 Mariners. Let's go. Because we know Gino typically is going to strike out or he's going to hit a home run. And then once in a blue moon, he might have a line drive down third base that goes all the way back to the wall. And that definitely would score 2. And again, I'm hoping that we can get one of those things to happen. A really hard hit ball down that third base line, or he just goes yard and crushes it there, into the fans in the outfield at some point. But we know Gino likes to be overly aggressive. And Gino on the first pitch. Varsho is there diving and a big catch. If Varsho misses that ends up being 4-3 or 5-3 Seattle. Nice catch there. And hopefully Cal and Gino will be a little bit more patient. You have to understand what's going on, in each particular inning. Some innings, you're going to go after it, try to get that pitch right down the middle. But again, I feel like once we work the count and get to pitch 4, pitch 5, pitch 6, once you start to see what's kind of coming at you, then you can have a better gauge on when you just let it loose and you go for that Happy Gilmore swing rather than just doing it on the first pitch and then just popping out, because all that does is benefit the pitcher and the other team. 3-3 Mariners and Blue Jays. Go to the bottom of the 3rd inning and see who's up next here for Toronto. Next up, 0 for 1 with a K, 3rd baseman Addison Barger. Batting second, 1 for 1, catcher with an RBI, Alejandro Kirk. And batting third, 0 for 1, center fielder in the 6-hole, Dalton Varsho with that great catch. Making some defensive plays out there. And one thing that all 4 teams have in common between the Mariners, the Blue Jays, the Brewers, and the Dodgers, we all have good catchers. And again, if you have a good catcher, it definitely makes the difference, not only offensively, but defensively as well. And we gained 3-4 more subs since the last commercial. 54 subs to go to 23,000. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 300 likes, 100 on the dono train. Still looking for our first to get us going. And obviously, we had 70 subs to go when the stream started to be able to hit 23,000. We've gained 16 so far. Shout out to the 16 new subs that we've acquired in the hour. And now we have 54 to go to 23,000. We just broke 5 million views on the channel overall, which is great. And again, we're definitely going in the right direction here on the NWSF. Bottom of the 3rd, 3-3 Mariners and Blue Jays. All right, Logan, settle in, baby. Gilbert on the mound. Barger in the box. First pitch, high and away with the 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 1-0 pitch, fouls it off right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to Addison Barger. And obviously, Kirby and Castillo have better splits at home Blue Jay than on the road. So that's the reason why that we're going that particular route. Gilbert can typically pitch at home and on the road, maybe slightly better than Kirby and Castillo at times in the season. But I honestly feel Kirby and Castillo would be able to find a way to get the job done even on the road. It feels like all our pitchers have kind of locked in. Obviously not Brian Wu, because he's still managing the pec, and we might have to have him in game 5 or coming out of the pen. But overall, most of the guys have locked in. Have we had a mini meltdown with some of our starters? Yeah. Have we had some mini meltdowns from our closers and guys in the bullpen? Of course. It's just about limiting the damage, and giving up a run, not 4, and making sure the game is manageable. Pitch is popped up, and that is fading foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Addison Barger. That's what, shows how good we are. Our number 1 pitcher in 2025, we haven't had access to him, in the whole playoffs. So, to be able to, make it to the ALCS without your number 1 pitcher on the staff, how many teams could say that? And we had 4 out of our 5 starters injured this year, except Luis Castillo. So again, most teams would fail where we ended up thriving and succeeding. And again, this team is built a little bit different, and it's the best team that we've had ever in the Seattle Mariner history of existence. Top to bottom, player for player, including our bullpen and our bench, including our farm as well. It's something special. 2-2 pitch, and Barger grounds out to second, and that is 1 away. And we'll take that little throw from Polo to Naylor. 1 down. Next up, catcher Alejandro Kirk. Let's go, baby. First pitch to Kirk, and flies out to Robles, and that is 2 away. Down goes Alejandro. Next up is Dalton Varsho. Nice catch there by Victor Robles. And honestly, if we would have played George Kirby, Luis Castillo, or even Brian Wu, in this particular game, if he was ready, more than likely the Blue Jays probably put up the same amount of hits and runs, regardless on who is, on the mound. They're not going to go, for 28, like they did yesterday after Springer hit the homer. Now, is it possible at some point in the series that they go only 2 hits, 1 more time? Yeah, it's possible. But again, with a team that is this good, again, they got here for a reason. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, low and away on the line there with the slider. 85 miles an hour off speed by Gilbert. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dalton Varsho. 1-1 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Gilbert to Varsho. TJ in the building, what's good? Yeah, much better than, trying to have Luke Raley or Dominic Canzone or someone out there that we don't trust as much. So obviously having Randy, Julio, and Victor out there definitely makes you feel comfortable, unless it ends up being a ground ball in Randy's area, and then we kind of cringe a little bit. But other than that, we feel pretty good. Nobody's perfect. Everyone's human. I just want to see effort, hustle. How bad do you want this? 2-2 pitch, low and out the knees. Count now is full to Varsho. 3 balls and 2 strikes in the bottom of the 3rd with with 2 outs and nobody on. 57 to 200. TJ in the building. What's good, brother? Yeah, Gino going yard today, JD, would be great. He's overdue, 100%. And Varsho strikes out swinging. There we go. Huge. Nice job, Logan. And another punch out for Logan Gilbert. Obviously, his, not his best performance whatsoever. But again, if we can just keep pace, with the momentum shifts. We got the 3-run blast by Julio. The crowd was stunned. They couldn't believe it. after we won game 1 that we would score a 3-run jack in the first inning. You couldn't even fathom that happened, right? But again, you have to understand that this team is gritty and they're not going to give up. They're not going to roll over. They're going to do everything in their power to try to make it to the World Series themselves. And now the momentum shifted to Toronto, but now it's time, to get the momentum back. And let's see if we can do that here at the end of our lineup. And I want to see some bunts. Can we bunt at least once in this game? I mean, we got the personnel to do it. Leading off for the Mariners, 0 for 1 with a K, Dominic Canzone. Batting second, 0 for 1, Victor Robles. And batting third, 0 for 1, shortstop JP Crawford. All three of these guys are capable of dropping a bunt down. And again, you drop a bunt down perfectly, 80 to 90% chance to be able to be safe, depending on the placement. And again, you never know if there's going to be a barehanded attempt, a wild throw to first. Sometimes even bunts turn into doubles. We just need to get guys on base, so that way we can, go from first to second, second to third, just like Randy did yesterday, right? To put us in a great position. Once he got on first, he stole second, stole third, and then we got Polo to knock him in. And again, Polo has been the most clutch hitter in the playoffs for the MLB up to this point. And again, we want to make sure that hot streak continues, but we want to make sure the guys in the 7, 8, and 9 continue to do something positive in our lineup. Let's go Dom. Let's go Victor. Let's go JP. Jacob in the building. What's good? And you also have to realize too, nobody practices bunting defense in the entire league, so it makes you kind of wonder if you have something that's not practiced at all, why are not more teams going for bunts? And again, you do see certain managers that do it, pretty often, more than others, and again, it is situational baseball, but again, I feel like more times than not, if you drop the bunt down and you get on first, there's a different type of energy, when, you get a single, it feels great. But when you get on with a bunt, it almost feels like you got on with like a triple. It's like you maybe shouldn't have got to first safe, but you did. And then all of a sudden you get this like extra momentum. And again, we know triples don't come very often and bunts don't come very often, but when you get one, the electricity that you feel, singles and doubles are great. Home runs are fantastic, but again, when you can get on with a bunt and know that something good is going to happen after, it definitely changes the momentum. Just like when you get a triple, you feel like, okay, in a matter of time, that guy's coming home. First pitch from Savage to Canzone, fouls it off, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, high and away to Dominic Canzone. 1 ball and 1 strike. Here in the top of the 4th, 3-3 tie with no outs. Come on, Dom. Dom is due for a Dom bomb as well. One pitch, and Dom, line drive, throw to first, and that is 1 away. Clement to Vladdy, 1 down. Next up is Victor Robles. I mean, I think for us Mariner fans, we were, hoping to split, but if you have a chance to win 2 games in Toronto and the next 3 are in Seattle, and we have probably the best home field advantage out of the 4 teams left, besides maybe the Dodgers, based on home crowd and vibe, again, you still, have to get the job done. Just because we're at home doesn't mean automatic wins. We have to earn them. But it definitely puts us in a great position if we're able to steal the first 2 games in Toronto with 3 games in Seattle, where potentially we could end up sweeping or winning in 5 if we played well. Now, obviously, if we dropped a game or 2, then we would have to win the series in Game 6 or Game 7 in Toronto, which I still feel that we could do also. But obviously, we have to take it pitch by pitch, game by game. And right now, with a 3-3 score, it's anybody's guess on who's going to win here today. But I do feel confident that we can win the series. and make it to the World Series against the Dodgers, in my opinion. Even though the Brewers went 6-0 against them, that was different. If you look at Roki Sasaki, you look at, Max Muncy, Yamamoto, and a few of these other guys that were injured when they ended up playing them. The wins were great for them back then, but the team that they're playing now is not the team that they went 6-0 on early in the year. So it's, that has to be taken in consideration as well. Great job by Milwaukee, during the year, but we'll find out if they can get the job done, obviously in game 1 later tonight. 2-2 pitch fouled off by Victor Robles. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Yasavage to Robles. 2-2 pitch fouled off right down the middle again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on with 1 out. And again, it could go any way, Mariners or Blue Jays, Brewers or Dodgers. But I find it hard to believe the Dodgers, after winning the World Series last year and the way that they played late into the year and how they swept us, in the last 3 games and gaining some good momentum. If you look at their pitching staff and their bullpen, and obviously it doesn't hurt when you have 3 first ballot Hall of Famers, with Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman on top of guys like Teoscar Hernandez and Kike Hernandez that step up in the playoffs. As Robles lines out to center field, Dalton Varsho is there, and that is 2 away. But if Milwaukee ends up winning the series, would I be shocked? No. They had one of the best records all year, and they have the best road record out of any team in baseball. But, I kind of have a feeling that the Dodgers are going to find a way. They always play great postseason ball, and that's one thing Milwaukee doesn't really have, is that experience late in the postseason compared to Los Angeles. But that doesn't mean that they can't overcome and do it this year. Next up is J.P. Crawford. Now, obviously, if the Brewers win and the Mariners win, we would have a better chance of winning it all, in my opinion. Again, if we go against the Dodgers, I think it would be that much harder, based on their lineup and team. But regardless on, who it is, I like our chances. Anything can happen. We are a team of destiny. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. Is Savage on the mound, JP in the box. And JP flies out to left, and that is out number 3. Schneider over there with the catch. And now we're going to be going to the bottom of the 4th inning. After a lot of electricity in the 1st and 2nd inning, it's been kind of going through the motions in the 3rd and now the 4th. And hopefully we can hold them to a 0 and in this particular inning and keep the game at 3-3. Let's see who's up next here for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 4th. Next up for the Blue Jays, 1 for 1 with a run, second baseman Ernie Clement. Batting second, 0 for 1 left fielder from the stash from the past, Davis Schneider. And batting third, 0 for 1, shortstop in the 9-hole, Andres Jimenez. And we still got Logan Gilbert on the mound, and now they're replacing him with Edward Bizardo. So Logan is done. And we didn't use Bizardo yesterday. So, again, this could be very good for us as long as we get the good Bizardo. And having Bizardo go more than 1 inning might be ideal. If we can have him go 2 innings, that would be, as long as he's pitching well, that could really help us. Rather than just going with 1 guy per inning, sometimes you got to go, 1 guy twice. And again, as long as they're on, keep it moving. And obviously not the greatest performance for Savage or Logan Gilbert, but let's look at Logan's numbers here. So 3 innings pitched. He normally pitches 5, not 6 or 7 like Wu throughout the year. The injury bug has hurt him this year, and obviously hasn't looked really fully right since those injuries. But with that being said, 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks, 58 pitches, 39 strikes. And then comparing it to Savage, 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, 69 pitches, 42 strikes. So you would assume that Savage will go another inning or 2 before they pull the plug on him, but you never know. But again, not ideal, for Logan Gilbert to give up 3 runs. But again, we scored 3 with Julio, so it's not like we're down 3-0. Now, if we were down 3-0, we were like, oh God, Logan, he shit the bed, right? But since Julio ended up getting that 3-run jack, it doesn't hurt as bad. And now we just have to look at it as if the score is 0-0, even though it's 3-3. And, we're halfway through the matchup, and we know that we're the stronger team with 2 outs. We're the stronger team late in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And again, we've been battling adversity, this whole year. And even sometimes the umps, are questionable. And we'll see kind of where it goes. Freedom in the building from Thailand. Go Ems. Let's go, Edward. First pitch, fouled off. High and inside towards that left field line, foul. And we need Edward to be the good Bizzardo, not the bad Bizzardo. And we haven't really said bad Bizzardo that much this year. He's been our best bullpen pitcher, better than Brash overall, better than Spire, and again, for a guy that used to be one of the worst on the team with Taylor Saucedo last year and Dylan Moore, he definitely has raised his game tremendously. 0-1 pitch, fouled off. Little check swing that goes down that first base line. No balls and 2 strikes for Edward Bizzardo. Let's go, Bizzardo. 0-2 pitch. Slow dribbler up the middle. Get it, Edward. Cal's got it. Nice throw. There we go. Great instincts there for Edward, where he was lunging for it. Cal said, don't worry, I got it. It looks like Cal, hopefully he's okay. He's wincing here. Hopefully he didn't pull his groin. But obviously he had to stretch a little awkwardly there because Edward was in the way. And then Cal ended up throwing it to first, but he's wincing a little bit. I hope he didn't pull his groin there. I mean, great throw. Obviously, goes Superman face first into the turf after the throw. And again, Cal is going to give everything that he's got, but hopefully he's okay. And that's the difference between him and Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge might have a better batting average, better slugging. But again, all he does is play right field and DH. It's like you're not doing anything like Cal is doing for leadership and defense, playing the hardest position in baseball, catcher. Again, we love Aaron Judge. We love Shohei Ohtani, and obviously Ohtani pitches as well. So that gives him a little bit of an edge on Judge also by doing more than just the normal basic duties of a player. And, all 3 are magical players, but, 2 of the 3 do a little bit more than the other as that one hits the top of the dugout there and goes into the crowd. Bottom of the 4th inning, 3-3 Mariners and Blue Jays. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away with the sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bizzardo to Schneider. 95 miles an hour with that sinker by Edward. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Davis Schneider. And it's not just the home runs that Cal hit. You have to realize, the most home runs that any catcher hit ever was 48, and he did 60. And he's obviously above that now in the playoffs. 1-2 pitch, and Schneider strikes out looking. Like, has Aaron Judge done something that no player has done ever in baseball this year? And if the answer is no, well, there's your answer. And again, he's had a great year. There's no doubt about that. But again, for those voters that are leaning, kind of in the middle, that's the question you have to ask yourself. Both are having amazing seasons, both deserve co-MVP, but did Aaron do something that no player has ever done in baseball before? Cal sure did, but it seems like people are not acting like that's a big deal, First pitch to Andres Jimenez, takes a strike looking low and at the knees, 0-1 count. I mean, just imagine if the Yankees had Cal Raleigh and we had Aaron Judge, and how those fans would be defending Cal based on his stats just because he's a Yankee. you know it would be the same type of thing. If you switch the players, the outcome is still the same. Yankee fans are going to still say that their guy's better. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Andres Jimenez. Bottom of the 4th, 3-3 Mariners and Blue Jays. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Low and away with that slider, missing by an inch or so. 2 balls and 1 strike to Andres Jimenez. And hopefully Bizardo will be able to go a couple innings since he didn't go yesterday. I hope that as long as he doesn't give up any runs here, let's have him go. And great job as Jimenez flies out to Randy. Thank God it wasn't a ground ball. And that is out number 3. Fantastic job by Edward Bizardo. Let him come back in and pitch the 5th. Hell, you can have him pitch 3 innings in a row. You can have him pitch the 6th as well. You know, whatever they decide to do. But again, Bizardo did not pitch yesterday. So if he pitches 2 or 3 innings, as long as he's great, I don't mind. Let's go to the top of the 5th inning with a 3-3 tie. Fantastic job by Edward Bizardo. Way to bring that electricity coming in for Logan Gilbert. Great job. Looks like we gained 3 more subs. 51 to go to 23,000. We've gained 19 already in the broadcast. Shout out to all the individuals that have done that. We're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. Once we get one, that'll get the ball rolling. And again, let's see who is up next here in the top of the 5th for the Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners, 0 for 1 with a run and a K. Left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a run and a base on ball, catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And batting third, 1 for 1 with a run, 3 ribbies, a base on ball, and a 3-run blast in the first inning for 370 feet, Julio Rodriguez. Trident's up, seize the moment. And also, you got to remember, Gilbert, pitched quite a bit, in that Game 5, ALDS, game-clinching, performance. So, again, and normally Logan would only go 5 innings, usually throughout the regular season. It wasn't like Wu, who typically would go 6 or 7. Gilbert, with the injury this year, hasn't really been himself, fully. But again, at least that we're tied up at 3-3. Giving up 3 runs really isn't ideal. That's kind of like the maximum you can give up while still kind of keeping your team in it. If you give up any more than that, usually it's kind of a nightmare at that point. But luckily, Julio's bat came alive. Randy got plunked. Cal got walked. And we got the big home run by Julio. Otherwise, if that doesn't happen and Randy strikes out, Cal strikes out or pops up, and Julio grounds out, we're probably sitting at a 3-0 deficit right now. So we have to be very thankful that, we had Savage kind of have a mini meltdown in the first, even though he's settled in very nicely since then. And a slow dribbler for Randy. Run, Randy, run! Yes, wild pitch. There we go. And that's why you run hard to first base, Randy. There you go. You never know when there's going to be a wild throw to first base, even though it looks like maybe 90% chance you're out, but you never know. And a great attempt there by Toronto, but when you're doing a 360 and then you're having to throw on the fly, right? Again, it's very hard to hit your mark. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. Work the count. Let me see you get to pitch 4, pitch 5. Let them know, Michael. 161. Let's get to 2. We should be closer to 300 on the likes. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 200 and then 300. We're still looking for our first dono on our dono train, and we've already gained about 20 subs, and we needed 70 to start off the day to get to 23,000. And at the moment, we have gained quite a few. Where are we at now? We need only, 51? 48 now. Gained a few more. 3 more since the last commercial break. 48 subs to 23,000. Let's go. We just hit 5 million views on the channel today as well. Let's go. We got 388 people in the room. Let's get that like number as close to that as possible. And I think pulling Gilbert was just based off vibe, and what he pitched in, that ALDS Game 5 win. So no need to push a guy if we have guys that are available, since Bizzardo didn't pitch yesterday. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Good. Toronto loses the challenge. I guess, teams do desperate things at desperate times, trying to get an edge, when they've already lost game 1 and the game is tied 3-3, and they're going to automatically walk the big dumper Cal Raleigh. He's intentionally walked, and now they're going to go to Julio Rodriguez, who already has a 3-run jack. You would think that they would intentionally walk Julio, not Cal, but... And hopefully Julio Rodriguez can make him pay here. And obviously they're doing this to try to get Julio to hit into a double play. I know what they're looking at, but hopefully Julio can get a big double here or a home run, and we can end up extending our lead from 3-3 to 4-3, 5-3, or potentially 6-3. And your Savage day is done, I believe. All right, your Savage's day is done. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks, 70 pitches, 43 strikes. And when we pulled Gilbert, it was only in 3 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks, 58 pitches. So Gilbert goes out with 58, your Savage goes out with 70. And we usually, starters go, closer to the 90 to 100 range. But also you have to take in consideration what happened in the previous series for us. ALDS Game 5, where we had to use pretty much everybody, in the lineup to win. And they're going to be bringing in Varlin. So let me get the Varlin photo here prepped. All right, Louis Varlin coming out. We got Julio Rodriguez in the box, who already has a 3-run blast in the first inning. Top of the 5th, runners at first and second with 0 outs. And hopefully we can end up taking the lead in this inning. We have a pretty good chance to do that. Now, if Logan, didn't pitch, so many innings, 30, 40 pitches in that Game 5, yeah, they probably would have allowed him to go a little bit longer, but I have no problem with pulling him. Obviously gave up those runs early in the game, and both pitchers, we're pretty clean, right, for the third and the fourth. And then a little bit of this, obviously, fifth inning, you're starting to see a little mini meltdown. And, you don't want the Mariners to go up 5-3 and then pull you a savage. So they're going to see if they can stop it with Louis Varland. But I think that we'll have a pretty good chance on scoring at least a minimum of 1 this inning, hopefully. But again, maybe this will be a big inning for us if we can get the right pitches. Anna in the building, what's good? Gained 4 more subs. 44 subs to go to 23,000. We started the day needing 70. So shout out to all the individuals that have smashed that like button up to this point. 36 of y'all. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. Louis Varland on the mound. Julio in the box. And I wouldn't mind a wild pitch here from Varland at some point to advance our runners as well. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Woohoo with a tenor. Appreciate you. I was waiting for someone to show love. Stacks. Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 10. 90 to go to hit the goal. Appreciate you very much. Woohoo is worldwide. Appreciate you. Prestige worldwide. Wide. Appreciate you, my boy. 2-2 pitch and take strike 3 looking right down the middle. Down goes Julio, and that is 1 away. Next up, the most clutch player in the playoffs up to this point, Jorge Palanco. Let's go, Polo. And we obviously need help from the regulars in the room, not just the mods, whether it be All Day or any of the others. If we got 430 in the room, it can't just be me. It has to be a team effort. Help us get those numbers up. Takes 1 second to hit that like button. I'll handle the donos and the subs, but I need your guys' help as far as the likes for the others in the room that haven't done it yet. First pitch to Polo, high and away, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, fouled off high and away with the changeup there by Louis Varland. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jorge Palanco. We should already be sitting at 200 to 300 likes right now. We got 435 in the room. Come on. Let's go. Top of the 5th, runners at first and second. 3-3 tie with 1 out. Varland on the mound, Polo in the box. And Polo hits it deep, and it's gone! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Jorge Palanco, the MVP of the playoffs, and he does it again, bringing that electricity. 3-run blast, 6-3 Mariners. Let's go! Let's go! Hell yeah! I mean, we haven't seen a player like this in quite some time. And again, Polo coming up with big home runs, big RBIs, and then now doing it again. I mean, and we always talk about how great Cal and Julio have been, throughout the year. But again, in the playoffs, nobody has been more clutch than Jorge Palanco. He is the X factor that's going to get us to the World Series and potentially having a chance to win it. Great job. Let's go, Jorge Palanco. Next up is Josh Naylor. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Naylor. Let's go. Woohoo, got us on a good note. Let's go, baby. Reflect with a tenor. Appreciate you. Another $10 holla on the dono train. And that's why I felt good, after seeing Savage leave. I felt that Varlin, had a chance for us to get an RBI or a home run, and Polo capitalized early. I love it. And now the crowd has gone dead silent there in Toronto. Our time. And again, we had such a love-hate relationship with him last year with Garver. This guy stinks, And then you go into this year, he starts off the year after, he was hurt last year. That was a part of it. Got the surgery, with the knee. And then obviously started the year batting 350 to 450, 384, 9 home runs in April. And then kind of hit a wall and then got good again and then got really hot. And then now we're starting to see, something really, really special with Jorge Palanco. 6 of 7 hits have driven in runs in the postseason. No player, Judge, Ohtani, no one has done that. And I'm so thankful that Polo didn't re-sign, go with a different team. Obviously we re-signed him in Seattle. He could have went to Houston. They had interest. And I'm just so thankful that we ended up working it out with him. And sometimes it's the least likely guys that you expect to come up in the clutch. We always assume Cal. We always assume Julio. And now, Jorge Palanco, he's got us locked in. Awesome. Pitch was fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. And down goes Naylor. And that is 2 away. Next up is Eugenio Suarez. And we got quite a few guys that are due for a home run, right? Gino is due. Naylor is due. Dom Bomb we're waiting. Victor is due. And JP is due. So again, we have more than half of the lineup that is due for a home run, including at the top with Randy Arosarena. So, maybe 6 out of the 9 guys are, due for a home run. And again, we're capitalizing in the most epic way on the road. Let's go. First pitch takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. And it's just awesome that we are able to share these moments and these experiences together. I'll be doing this for the rest of my life, but this will be a year that we never forget. 0-2 pitch, and that is strike 3 looking on Eugenio Suarez, but not after. Polo comes up big again. 2 home runs against Scooball. The last time anyone had a multi-homer game, playoffs or not, on Scooball was in 2021. That was the beginning of the greatness of Jorge Palanco. And then we've seen him get RBIs left and right. And then all of a sudden, I want to join the home run party. And he does. 6-3 Mariners. And when's the last time that we had 2 3-run jacks in a game? It's been a minute. Julio and Polo, let's go. Let's go, baby. Awesome. Gained 4 more subs from the last commercial break, and we only need 40 to go. We've gained 30 subs today, 40 to go to 23,000, and we got almost 500 in the room. Let's try to get the likes up to at least 300 before the stream ends. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. You haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 300 likes, 100 on the dono train. And again, we needed 70 subs to hit 23,000, and now we're at 22,960. We've gained 30. We got 40 to go. Reflect with another $5. Appreciate you. Every dollar counts. Stacks. Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Another $5 holla on the dono train. You reflect, and woohoo. Prestige world wide, wide, wide. Let's go. Let's see who's up next here in the bottom of the 5th for the Toronto Blue Jays. Next up, 1 for 1 with a run and a base on ball, DHing George Springer. Batting second, 2 for 2 with a run and an RBI, right fielder Nathan Lucas. And batting third, 0 for 2, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Trident's up, seize the moment. And if you actually look at all the teams, right, who's the most hungriest out of the teams? And a lot of times you see this like in the NFL, the NHL, NBA, especially for a team, that hasn't been in these kind of opportunities or moments. We've never been to a World Series. This is the best team that we've ever had in the team's existence. Now the Dodgers, they won it last year. So they're not as hungry this year. They know that they're good enough to go back to back, but do they have that extra motivation, that extra hunger that maybe like the Brewers have, the Mariners have? And obviously with the Blue Jays, I feel that they're hungry, but they just don't have the top to bottom talent like Seattle. And if we can find a way to exit this Toronto matchup being up 2-0, things are going to be looking very good with the next 3 games in Seattle. And again, I feel that we have more motivation, at this point. We're the hungriest team out of the 4 teams left. Not to say the Blue Jays, Dodgers, and Brewers aren't hungry. I think they are, but the Mariner hunger is on another level. We're feasting. Let's go. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to George Springer. TJ says 17 to 250. We got 5-10 in the room. Let's go. We need a team effort here. 1-2 pitch. And Bizzardo's out there, grounds out to first. And that is 1 away. Look at Naylor. Wow. And the defense is something that we cannot overlook. The defense for the Mariners, again, and if you want to win the World Series, you're going to have great pitching and great defense. Now, we thought the Yankees, might have had the edge on pitching and defense against the Dodgers last year. But what happened? As soon as game 1 happened, the pitching and defense for the Dodgers was better on top of the hitting, and there was no category that New York was better than Los Angeles, and the rest is history. And again, we have to be very thankful that we have such a deep pitching staff, starters and pen, and our defense for the most part, with every once in a while a bugaboo, by one of our guys. But for the most part, as long as it's not a ground ball to Randy, we're good to go. We know Gino and Polo and Naylor have had some mistakes, recently, but nothing really to hurt us in losing a game. And great effort by Josh Naylor. 0-1 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nathan Lucas. And again, you have to understand how important it is to have good players at first and third, compared to if you've ever had a team that doesn't have guys at first and third that are manageable, that can actually make big plays. And a nice hit there in the gap past Polo. And nice job by Nathan Lucas. All right, next up is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. We need a slow dribbler to J.P. Crawford. A throw to Naylor, and we get a double play, and we get out of this inning unscathed with a 6-3 lead. 3-run blast by Julio, 3-run blast by Polo. Life is good. Let's go, baby. First pitch takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. And then obviously the Mariners have the day off tomorrow. So I'll either do game 2 of the Brewers and the Dodgers, or I might just take the day off and rest my voice. And then we'll be right back at it on Wednesday and Thursday for game 3 and game 4. George Kirby on the bump on game 3, Luis Castillo on game 4. And again, if we can hang on for a few more innings and get the dub here, potentially we could win this particular series in Seattle in game 4 or game 5. That would be awesome. 0-2 pitch, and crushes that one foul. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Let's go, Bizzardo. Pitch fouled off, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I mean, it's not just Vargas that makes us, get nervous. I would say Caleb Ferguson, same thing. There's going to be certain guys that are talented that we hope that it goes well. Brash, Fazzardo, Gabe Spire, the top guys, right? But then once you go past the top guys and you go to the others, then it's like Vargas, Ferguson, and a few others. You're just kind of praying that they can get like the one out that they're, designed to get when they come in. And if you have to pitch a whole inning with a Ferguson or Vargas, then bad things definitely could happen. Pitches outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But hopefully, if we can have, our better players pitch 2 innings rather than having Vargas or Caleb even pitch 1, I would rather go Bizzardo 2, Brash 2, Spire 2 normally rather than having those guys even see the field. And Guerrero grounds out to the pitcher, Lucas to second, no throw there, and that is 2 away. Good defense by Seattle. Good job, Bizzardo. Next up is Addison Barger. And you can hear a pin drop here in Toronto. They were extremely quiet after Julio hit the 3-run bomb. But then after they started getting a few hits, they wanted to get the team, motivated. And obviously they felt that energy. They were able to tie it up 3-3 in the first and second inning. But since then, the crowd has been pretty quiet. And then when Polo hit that home run, 3-run blast, you can hear a pin drop out there. They're still right now in shock. First pitch from Bizzardo to Barger, fouls it off, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and inside, which should have been strike 2. There's another bad call that's missed by this ump that's in the box and not necessarily just on the line, and he ends up calling that one a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike to Addison Barger. Should be no balls and 2 strikes. And it definitely feels like this game is being umped 60-40, Toronto. But as long as we win this game, so be it. But it definitely feels like it's 60-40, 70-30. The Blue Jays are getting more calls. And again, it's not necessarily the calls on the line. It's the stuff in the box. Now, if you get an ump that's going to be 2 inches off the plate, high, low, inside, outside, and he's consistent, then he's just a terrible ump that's going to be bad for both teams. But when you start to see favoritism, that's when it gets a little annoying. At least call the same spots for both teams. And again, if you end up chirping at an ump, they say it's not personal, but things do get personal between the players and the umps. And if you say something that the ump doesn't like, you have a good guarantee that you might not be getting, those 50-50 calls in the future. Shouldn't be that way, but that's the reality. 1-2 pitch, high and inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Addison Barger. If you're going to be bad both ways, but again, we see it so often where we're scratching our heads, like, what is this call? And the ABS can't come quick enough. It's going to really make these umps actually have to do their job. And some of them may need an eye check, an eye exam, and some are too old to even be umping anymore. As Barger grounds out, throw to first, and that is out number 3. Great job by Bizzardo. Nice soft flip to Naylor. And here we go. 6-3 Mariners. Let's go to the top of the 6th, and let's get a few more. What do you say? I'm not content with just 6. Let's get to 10. And now Fluharty's coming in for Varland. Gained 6 more subs since the commercial break. 34 to go to get to 23,000. Let's go. I gotta get the Fluharty photo here for you guys. All right, so Louis Varland out, and then we're going to get Mason Fluharty in. And hopefully Mason will have a meltdown just like Louis did. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with a K in the top of the sixth, Dominic Canzone. Batting second, right fielder Victor Robles. And batting third, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Our year, our time, and again, there's going to be, a few individuals, covering the Blue Jays. And again, you always have to understand what you're going against. And again, some of these Blue Jay social media individuals and streamers, again, sometimes it's not the smartest move, to act a certain type of way. And again, I was doing a little peeking, with a few different individuals that cover Toronto. You're not really missing a whole lot. We definitely got a better product over here. And again, we're going to not be biased. We're going to definitely root for the teams that we root for, but we're still going to give love to greatness, regardless if that's on the other team. And, I think that some of those individuals, have a hard time of giving credit to, players and teams that deserve to get the credit. But we're sitting at a 6-3 lead. And again, let's hang on to this win and get the job done. Next up is Mitch Garver coming in to pinch hit. 0-1 pitch, fouls off. No balls and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. O2 pitch, fouled off. And we've had a problem of kind of fouling pitches off ourselves and guys getting a little nicked up and whatnot. But hopefully Mitch can find a way to, I would say, normally get walked, plunked, or to see if he can get a single here. Flying Monk with a $5 holla. And Garver hits it to center field, but DeVarsho over his head, and he misses it. Let's go. Let's go. Go, Garver, go. Triple for Garv. Triple for Garv. Triple for Garv. Yes. Yes. Shit is going bad when Mitch Garver gets a triple. Let's go. Let's go. You know it, baby. $5 holla from Flying Monk. Stacks. Racks with a little Cactus Jack. And the game isn't over yet, but we're definitely stepping on the gas, and we are not letting up. Great job by Mitch Garver. And we normally don't say great job and Mitch Garver in the same sentence. And for a big boy to get a triple, let's go. Let's fucking go. First triple in 6 years, other than the one that he got early in the year in September, and we love it. Next up is Victor Robles, and this would be a great time to be able to drop a bunt down at some point in this inning. Let's go. I'm so happy for, someone like Mitch, who's better than a Dylan Moore. We've had a few guys that may or may not deserve, to be on this roster at this point. But it's always nice to see a guy that has really struggled and then actually do something positive in a game that we need at this moment. Great job by Mitch Garver. And when me and my buddy got the Cal Raleigh jerseys when we went on the 4th of July, he ended up getting an autographed Mitch Garver ball. So again, it may have not been his first choice, but I told him that's a pretty cool thing to get, man. Line drive to third. And that is one away. A Mitch Garver ball is only going to be worth, $30 to $40 compared to like a Julio or a Cal that could be worth a couple hundred. But still, for a guy that's never gotten a ball, ever, and I'm still going to try to get him a foul ball when we go to a game because he's never gotten one. But Mitch Garver coming up in the clutch. And I know my best friend at work is probably smiling big. Let's go. Top of the sixth, Garver at third. Next up is J.P. Crawford. Let's get Mitch Garver to come home, baby. Let's go. And I got Leo Rivas pinch running for Mitch Garver. Let's go. Love me some Leo. Great job, Mitch. getting all the high fives from everyone in the dugout. They know. And, he's bright enough to know. He's a World Series champion from the Rangers, so he knows what it takes to win, but, hasn't been the greatest fit for us. And we obviously called up Harry Ford. We know that at some point that's his job as the backup to Cal. But I love seeing, guys that normally aren't very good, find a moment late and, do some damage. Great to see. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. 1-1 pitch, high and inside on pitch 1, low and away on pitch 3 with the sweeper. 2 balls and 1 strike from Mason Fluharty to J.P. Crawford. And they got Rivas pinch running for Garver. Hopefully we can squeeze him in. Pitch fouled off right down the middle by JP. 2 balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. And again, regardless if you've been a Mariner fan for 5 to 10 years, or you're like some of us that have been fans for 20, 30, 40 plus years, we're all watching this and enjoying this together. And, this is the best part is, not just being by yourself, in your house or room, watching it, screaming at the TV alone, where we can share these memories together. Pitches low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Let's go. Three-two pitch, fouled off. And Jorge Palanco is, doing things that we have never expected, at this point, and especially from him. We knew he was a pretty good role player, but now he's coming up as like the most consistent, game-breaking player, not only on the Mariners, but in the whole entire playoffs out of any team that's, been playing or that, has been eliminated. And it's just great to be able to see a guy like him do what he's doing for us. Shout out to Julio Rodriguez getting off the schneid as well. Last few games against the Tigers weren't very good. And, he was held hitless, on a few of those games. And for him to hit the 3-run jack was huge. And here we go, JP. He gets a single. Rivas, safe. Let's go. 7-3 M's. Let's go. Our time, baby. Our time. Blue Jays streamers, send some tissues. It's going to be a long year. Top of the 6th, 7-3 Seattle. Runner at first with 1 out. Let's keep it going. Let's see if we can get to 10, baby. Our time. We're more hungry. We have a deeper team. Doesn't matter if it's us and the Brewers or us and the Dodgers. Let's go. And down goes Mason Fluharty. And you can already tell the big difference, with the Tigers and the Blue Jays, compared to the Mariners. We think that sometimes our bullpen stinks, but when you actually look at our guys that we have, our bullpen is so much better. Even when our guys sometimes fuck up, speaking of Carlos Vargas and fucking up, it's his birthday today. And when I saw that birthday post, come up, I thought to myself, do I scroll past it, because he's been kind of bootios for us, or do I actually give him a solid and give him a heart or a thumbs up? And I decided to give him the thumbs up, even though we know Vargas has blown a lot of games for us, but we also have to remember Carlos Vargas has actually won some games for us as well. And even though he might be one of the worst players on the team at the moment, since we don't have Dylan Moore on the roster anymore, again, you never know when a guy that might be unreliable, untrustworthy, down the road may end up being an unsung hero for us at some point in these playoffs. Now, do I trust him? No. I will wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Carlos Vargas. But I think I might be the only one. No, I know I'm not the only one. I don't want to see him in action that much. If we can avoid having Vargas out there, that'll definitely be a benefit of the Seattle Mariners. Nice job by J.P. Crawford. We know that he can do this and play some amazing defense. But again, getting that bat active is exactly what we needed. 7-3 Seattle, and you can hear a pin drop in Toronto. They're not leaving yet, but again, couple more innings. We may see some people heading out early. Great job, Seattle. Way to bring it in Game 1 and Game 2 when people didn't give us a whole lot of faith. All right, Braden Fisher into the game now. And Randy fouls that one off on an 0-1 count. No balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arosarena. I mean, the guys there in the ALCS are eating food rather than calling the game. Come on, Smoltz. Braden Fisher on the mound. Randy Arosarena in the box. I mean, maybe start cutting the turkey and the food, during the commercial break, not when the game is on. Come on, Fox. Get your shit together. Focus on the Mariners winning and playing well, not eating turkey. One-two pitch, fouled off high and away. I guess that's what happens, The Toronto Blue Jays make the announcers go to sleep, and then they just start talking about turkey and eating. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Arosarena. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Arosarena. And I know what it is, based on the holiday up there, but, there's a time and a place. Don't be eating and cutting things, when the game is going on. Like, do it on the commercial break. You got plenty of time to, focus on that. And Arosarena strikes out looking, and that is 2 away. Marine Bean in the building. What's good? 2 away. I mean, I love turkey. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, no doubt, but there's a time and a place. First pitch to big dumper from Braden Fisher. Fouls it off, 0-1 count. Nice souvenir there into one of the luxury boxes. And even though we're ahead 7-3, hey, how about a little Mariner Moose? Why the hell not, huh? One pitch, takes a strike looking. High and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Braden Fisher on the mound, Cal Raleigh in the box. And we're doing so well, we're even throwing up the Vargas photo for his birthday. And again, you've blown a lot of games for us, but I can still show some love. Happy birthday, Carlos Vargas. And we've had a few birthdays lately, Rivas, now Vargas, and there'll be a few others that we'll be celebrating as well. Top of the 6th, 7-3 Mariners. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. And about 10% of the fan base is making noise. They definitely are in disbelief right now. But again, if you look at the roster, top to bottom, we're the better team. You could argue we have maybe the best roster out of the 4 teams that are left. And then the only other team that's got a roster like ours is the Dodgers, player for player. And down he goes. And that is out number 3. Down goes Cal. And now let's see who's up next here for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 6th. Now you can eat the Thanksgiving turkey, Smoltz. Gained a few more subs. 33 to go to get to 23,000. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 300 likes, 100 on the dono train. And we needed 70 subs to get to 23,000. We've gotten 37 so far. We need 33 to go to hit 23,000. We just hit 5 million views on the channel. Next goal will be 10 million. And shout out to every single person that has liked, subbed, donated, commented, shared. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Tridents up, seize the moment. Our year, our time, 2025, Seattle Mariners. Next up for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the sixth, 1 for 2 with an RBI, catcher Alejandro Kirk. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a K. Center fielder, Dalton Varsho. And batting third, second baseman in the 7-hole, Ernie Clement. Well, I mean, after Julio hit the 3-run blast, everyone was quiet, deservedly so. I mean, that would be the same thing, obviously, in T-Mobile if it happened to us. But then later in that inning, when they started getting a few hits, the crowd got crazy because they knew, this is the time that they have to respond, other than Seattle just kind of, going, gangbusters on them. And the crowd was really lively in the first 2 innings. And then it got really quiet, for a few innings as each team kind of went through the motions. In the third and the fourth, no one got anything run-wise, and we were just kind of going through the motions. And then Seattle, in the fifth, after the pitching change, we decided to make, some memories happen. Jorge Palanco with a 3-run jack, and then obviously a 1-run 6th inning as well to get us to 7. And we haven't had the Blue Jays score since the 2nd inning, and hopefully it stays that way. And Carlos Vargas enters the game, and hopefully Vargas will be good here on his birthday. Maybe this will be the one thing that we can say, hey, he didn't fuck it all up. Let's pray together. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike, looking high in the zone. No balls at 2 strikes from Vargas to Kirk. And we have seen Vargas and Brash, within the last month, give up 1 to 4 runs. And sometimes we still win those games if we have a big lead, and other times we don't. But hopefully Vargas can be good enough to get maybe 1 strikeout and then get like a pop-up or a ground out, and then we can just move on. And then we can, go to the next inning. We don't expect him to get 3 Ks and 3 batters. 0-2 pitch. Fouls that one back off Cal. 100 miles an hour by Vargas. I think if Vargas, decided not to try to pitch with everything in his soul, and he actually scaled back his pitches from 100 to like 90 to 94 and worked more on location, he could maybe, turn into a poor man's Bizzardo if he was able to work, on himself, going into next year and the year after. I don't think he'll ever be Bizzardo, but again, Bizzardo ended up being one of our worst with Taylor Saucedo, and he figured it out, and Vargas at times will have some good stuff, but a lot of times he's just really fucking wild. I think everyone can agree with that. And once he starts losing it, his meltdown happens like immediately. He goes from 1 bad pitch to the second, a wild pitch, giving up a home run, then an RBI. Like there's no like filter to like turn off the, the switch, from going from, okay, you're bad, let's stop that and, move forward. But, it's kind of one of those things that just continuously continues to happen. And, hopefully he'll get better in the future. But we need to get this out here with Vargas on his birthday. Pitch fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Alejandro Kirk. Yeah, I mean, I got Mariners Dodgers in the World Series. That's kind of how it's looking. Even though we have to play game 1 here momentarily between the Brewers and Dodgers. And again, when the Brewers beat them 6 times this year, some of the key players that are on the team now weren't playing. They were injured. So we will see if the Brewers can continue their dominance against the Dodgers like they did in the regular season, or if Los Angeles will play like Seattle and impose their will on the road. And there we go. And that is one away. Great job by Carlos Vargas. I don't think we've said that too often, but it is his birthday, so I'm trying to be nice. Next up is Dalton Varsho. And I was on the cusp of to continue scrolling, but most of the Mariner posts on Facebook, X, and Instagram, I'm going to like and retweet all that stuff. And, even if it ends up being a guy that sometimes pisses us off and, blows saves and blows games, but, pitches low and into the dirt, almost hits Varsho on the foot. Come on, Carlos. 2 balls and no strikes to Dalton Varsho. Bottom of the 6th, 7-3 Mariner lead. And if we do play the Dodgers, Dodgers have home field because they beat us and swept us at the end of the year, which isn't ideal. But I don't know. I feel pretty confident with our guys playing on the road here in the playoffs. They're much stronger than on the road in the regular season. Like, they've kind of flipped the switch. And again, we've been able to celebrate a few times already, but we're hungry. We're not just happy to be in the playoffs. We're not happy winning the AL West. We're not happy with the ALDS. We're looking ALCS and we're looking World Series. Just like Cal Raleigh said, we might as well go out there and win the whole damn thing, right? The whole fucking thing. 2-2 pitch, fouled up, and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dalton Varsho. I don't know. They're both equally bad right angle. Vargas and Ferguson are not trustworthy whatsoever. If anything, they're just the righty and lefty version of each other, which is sad to say, but true. But if you had to trust one guy more than the other, I guess I suppose you go Vargas slightly, but both guys have had pretty epic meltdowns, within the last few months. 3-2 pitch, and that one gets crushed foul, out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Vargas to Varsho. Bottom of the 6th inning, 7-3 Mariner lead. And that one's hit deep into right field, but Victor Robles is there at the warning track and caught. Thank God. Thank God. 1 away. Next up for Carlos Vargas on his birthday. 7-hole hitter, 1 for 2 with a run. Second baseman Ernie Clement. First pitch, big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. And again, Vargas loves to pitch high and inside, but it always makes me nervous that he's going to hit someone in the jaw or the face. He just doesn't have a whole lot of control with his follow through. And, hopefully we don't have to worry about something crazy like that happening. I don't want to see anyone get hurt. And again, he's not an intentional dirty pitcher. It's just really, really wild and young out there. He just needs more experience. Pitch fouled off, high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes to Ernie Clement. Oh-2 pitch, low and away. First pitch that's kind of got away from Carlos Vargas here. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ernie Clement. Let's go, baby. I mean, if we can have Vargas, give up nothing, and Mitch Garver's getting triples, what does that say about the Seattle Mariners? We are fucking locked in. Let's go. And Vargas, Clement pops up, and there we go. The birthday boy does it. Unbelievable. Nice job, birthday boy. You got it done. You didn't give up a run. Congratulations, Carlos Vargas. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Mariners in the top of the 7th, and let's see if we can get to 10 runs before this game is over. Take no prisoners. Our year. Next up, 1 for 2 with a run, 3 RBIs and a base on ball. Center fielder Julio Rodriguez already has 1 3-run jack. Can he get another home run? Let's find out. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a run, 3 RBIs, and a K. 3-run jack from Jorge Palanco, who has actually been the best clutch player in the MLB 2025 playoffs. Who would have thought? Jorge Palanco. And batting third, he's a new papa. Fatherhood looks great on him. It's Nails, Josh Naylor. 2 for 3 with a K today with some great defense on top of that. I love this team. And again, for some of y'all that have been rocking with me for years and years and years, we always had dreams that this could potentially happen one day. We have a great farm system. We got a great pitching staff. We got great superstars with Julio and Cal to build around. But it shows you how important the role players have been this year. Guys like Randy, guys like Polo, Naylor, Gino late at the deadline. And then having guys that, you don't really expect anything. Dominic Canzone, Victor Robles, JP Crawford. But every once in a while, you'll get magic from those three at the 7, 8, and 9. And even guys like Mitch Garver coming up clutch. And he's not going to do it every game, but it sure as hell will make me smile when I can see a guy like this, who most of the time isn't good, getting a triple in this game. Life is good for us Seattle Mariner fans at the moment. Tridents up. Let's go M's. Gained a couple more subs since the last commercial break. 31 subs to go to 23,000. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help us get to 400 likes, 100 on the dono train. And we needed 70 subs to be able to hit 23,000. And we've gained, almost 30? No, 39? 39 subs. We only need 31 to go. 39 subs, 31 to go to hit 23,000. Let's go. And we just hit 5 million views on the channel today as well. Feels good. Fisher in for the Blue Jays. Takes a strike looking. 0-1 count. Yeah, we definitely should re-sign Polo and Naylor, no question. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. 1-1 pitch, fouled off, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. Braden Fisher still on the mound. Julio Rodriguez in the box. Appreciate that, Jeff. 1-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away with a curveball by Fisher. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 7th, 7-3 Mariner lead, and we're a few innings away of going up 2-0 in the series. JC says we're at 279. We need 21 more to get to 300. And if we can just get a little bit of help by a few of the others in the room, we could hit 400 before the stream is up. And down goes Julio, and that is 1 away. Monkey Kung Fu with a big 50. Thank you so much. Stacks, Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Another $50 holla on the dono train. Seize the moment. Go M's. Appreciate you so much and your support with the channel. Shout out to Woohoo. Shout out to Reflect. Shout out to Reflect, Flying Monk, and Monkey Kung Fu. Appreciate you guys. And Polo with another single. Man, again, and especially being a switch hitter, we know that we got Cal Raleigh as a switch hitter, but Polo is just dialed in a whole nother planet. As a lefty and a righty hitter, we definitely got to give Polo some money. And same thing obviously goes for the next guy, Josh Naylor. I want these guys to be a part of the Mariners. And again, last year, we were probably very content on letting Polo walk as well as Mitch Garver. It was not very kind to either one of those players, but Polo was injured. He had to have surgery. So that was a big part of it. And now Polo, fully healthy, coming up as the most clutch player on the Mariners. And not only that, the most clutch player in the playoffs overall. Huge. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Josh Naylor. I mean, if we have to choose between Polo and Naylor over guys like, Gino and some others, I think it's pretty clear where we need to go. And as much as I love Gino, Polo and Naylor are more valuable to this team, based off their age and production. I mean, that should be the priority, getting those guys re-signed long-term for the Mariners so we can build, a quote-unquote dynasty, and try to be competitive year in and year out. Try to win the AL West more than 1 year in a row and try to make the playoffs multiple years in a row. 2, 3, 4 years in a row would be great. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. You just got Palanco'd. I love it. Top of the 7th, 7-3 Mariners. Polo, hot as ever. And we saw, how good Corey Seager, was with the Rangers when they went on their run as a wild card team, and he was Mr. October. But Polo has given Corey Seager a little run for his money from a couple years ago, let me tell you. There might be a new Mr. October that we're talking about. And we know Reggie Jackson was called Mr. October. Seager was called Mr. October. You might have to start calling Jorge Palanco Mr. October as well. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Good eye by Naylor. The big grumper nails, locked in and focused. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Fisher to Naylor. And Naylor crushes it into right field, and it is gone! Let's go! Let's go! Oh! Let's go, Josh Naylor! Rock the baby, baby! 9-3 M's. Let's go. I mean, whether we win in 4 or 5 or 6, it doesn't matter. But again, we have a good chance of winning in Seattle in front of our fans and making it to the World Series. Let's go. Josh Naylor. And remember, we said at the beginning of the stream, there was about 5 or 6 guys that were due for a home run. And there he is. Fatherhood looks good on you. Let's go. Hell yeah. And it shows you how important these 2 guys are. Blank check. Make it happen. Gino, we love you. But again, we can let Gino move on. We can let Garver move on. There's a few other guys, that, obviously we could have move on. And again, we got a lot of young guys. Harry Ford, Cole Young, Colt Emerson that's in AAA, Lazaro Montes. We got Durangelo. Cade Anderson will end up being a starter at some point as well, and we'll have a dominant lefty, since considering right now we only have 2 guys as lefties that we don't really trust all the time. We trust Gabe more than Caleb Ferguson, but I'm so excited to see where this team is going to go. But if we're talking about right now, I mean, we are so locked in, and I assume the Dodgers are going to try to mirror what we are doing here on the road against Milwaukee. And I can't wait to be able to see what we get in Game 1 later today. And I'll decide tomorrow how my voice is feeling if we do Brewers-Dodgers Game 2 tomorrow, since Seattle is off and there's no football to do. But again, it all depends on Paisley and how I'm feeling. And then if we take the day off and I rest my voice, we'll be back at it for game number 3 with George Kirby on Wednesday on the bump. And then game 4, potentially the clinching game with Luis Castillo on the bump. And that'll be on Thursday. So pretty wild to think that we are this close of, 2, if we win here, which we still got a couple innings to go, right? But if we win here, we're only 2 wins away from the World Series and 6 away from winning it all. That is wild. And again, this team is locked in. And again, we are pouring fuel on the fire. Let's go. Incredible. I mean, again, for a lot of us that have been fans of, this team for 30, 40 years, and then having a 20-year stretch where, we're watching games, we're buying the merch, and knowing that we have no chance to even make the postseason. And then to be able to have this magical run, it feels so good for a lot of us that have been with this team for 20, 30, 40 years plus. Amazing. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Eugenio Suarez. 1-1 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Eugenio Suarez. 9-3 M's. Let's go. Unbelievable. Two 1 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike to Eugenio Suarez. And Gino with the walk. I mean, maybe they shouldn't have been, with David Ortiz and Vladdy. They maybe shouldn't have taken that extra moment to talk shit about the Yankees, thinking that they just had an easy walk and path, to make it to the World Series. And it's one thing, they're going to be bantering with Ortiz and Jeter in the studio. Red Sox fans hate Yankees. Yankees hate Red Sox. When they get eliminated, people love it, but maybe a little too overconfident, thinking that they were better than this Seattle Mariner team. Pump the brakes. First pitch to Leo Rivas, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Let's go, Leo. Oh, 1 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Leo Rivas. Love it, man. I feel like I'm dreaming a little bit. But I think people like me and Reflect and a few others, we always knew that we had this in us. It's just, can we actually produce, and having the right combination of players to step up in the biggest moments. And it's starting to all come together here in 2025. 2-1 pitch, high and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike to Leo Rivas. Yeah, I remember that game too. I also remember the game that went 18 innings that I, live streamed for like 7 or 8 hours at a 0-0 game, and we lost 1-0. So it definitely feels great, to be able to be on the opposite side of that. And again, we did beat the Blue Jays, when we made the playoffs for the first time in 20 plus years. We know this team inside and out. And again, if there's a kryptonite to Toronto, it might be Seattle. 3-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, outside of the zone, which should have been ball 4. But of course, the Mariners don't get another call. I'm used to it at this point now. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. 3-2 pitch, and there is the walk that should have happened on the previous pitch. Nice job, Leo. Absolutely love him. He spent 10 years in the farm with 3 different teams. Should have chose him over Dylan Moore early in the year, and maybe we would have hit 100 wins. But again, I'm happy that Leo's on the team now, and great job, Rivas. Next up is Victor Robles. First pitch, takes a strike, looking low and at the knees to Robles, 0-1 count. Rodriguez on the mound. Victor Robles in the box. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Victor Robles. Bottom of the 7th inning, 9-3 Mariners with runners at first and second and 1 out. Blue Jay fans don't know what to do with themselves at this point. Now, do the Blue Jays have a chance to recover and win a game or 2 in Seattle? Of course, they have a chance. But that crowd will be rocking at T-Mobile, and hopefully Kirby and Castillo pitch gems, and we can find a way. I mean, can you imagine if the Mariners actually sweep the Blue Jays and we win in 4? How crazy that would be. Maybe we would actually get a few more people rooting for us to win it all if we were to do that, rather than just assuming that Milwaukee or the Dodgers would obliterate us. Maybe we could actually get some people to, take a second look that, wow, sweeping a team as good as the Blue Jays. I'm not saying that we will, but there's a chance that we might. And there's another walk there by Rodriguez. I don't care if we win in 4, 5, 6, or 7, as long as we win. 2 wins so far, 2 more to advance to the World Series, and that feels great. Next up is J.P. Crawford. Rodriguez having a meltdown on the mound, and let's see if we can add a little more fuel to the fire. Let's go, J.P. Bases loaded with 1 out. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of alcohol being consumed by Blue Jay fans after this one tonight. 3-run jack by Julio, 3-run jack by Polo, 2-run jack by Naylor. Is that good? On the road, game 2 in Toronto. Let's go. We play like that, we could beat the Brewers or Dodgers. And again, we know how great those teams are as well. But again, we're just as good as anybody at this point. And we're definitely imposing our will on the road. And again, we're not a very good road team. Going in, we're 39-42 in the regular season. Really the only great team on the road this year was the Milwaukee Brewers. That usually would be 10 games above 500 on the road. Everyone else was a few games above 500, at 500, or slightly below 500 like us. So my pup is in here now. She's joining the celebration. I think she wants food, though. STL in the building. What's good? Top of the 7th, 9-3 Mariners. Bases loaded with 1 out. And now they're going with another pitcher. Bassett's coming in. I'm going to go grab my dog a quick snack here. All right. Paisley got her victory snack. And we got Chris Bassett entering the matchup here for the Blue Jays. First pitch to J.P. Crawford. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 0-1 count. Let's go, J.P. 0-1 pitch. Fouled off. High and away. No balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Top of the 7th. 9-3 Mariner lead. And again, you know, it's all about getting hot and healthy at the right time. And you know what makes this so impressive for us Seattle Mariner fans? We're doing it without Brian Wu, our number 1 pitcher. Think about how many teams could win games if their number 1 guy was out and you didn't have access to him. And we've had 4 out of our 5 starters injured this year. But maybe that would have been a little bit of a blessing. You know, less innings for Bryce on his arm, and he was able to lock in yesterday. And if Bryce never got hurt, you know, maybe he doesn't perform like he did yesterday. So, you know, I don't like guys getting hurt, but maybe those injuries were a little bit of a blessing, you know, so that these guys don't have as many innings on their arm late in the year. And again, you know, there's a lot of different factors on why we're winning, but it feels really good to say the Seattle Mariners are a legit contender in 2025. Let's go. World Series or bust, baby. Let's go. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Bassett to Crawford. Top of the 7th inning, 9-3 Seattle. Bases loaded with 1 out. Let's go. We'll take a freebie coming in from third. I mean, nothing would be more demoralizing. Pitch fouled off, high and away. I mean, if we start bringing in runs, you know, with bases loaded, just based off walks. If you guys know Blue Jay fans, make sure you check up on them. They're probably not doing too well right now. 3-2 pitch. Fouls it off. Bases loaded. Top of the 7th. 9-3 Mariner lead. I imagine there's going to be a lot of meltdown videos on social media with Blue Jay fans and Blue Jay streamers. 3-2 pitch. Fouled that one off again by J.P. Crawford. Fouls that one off himself. Count still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with bases loaded and 1 out. Well, they may have free health care, but that ain't going to help them right now based on potentially in a few more innings being down 2-0 in the series and the next 3 games being in Seattle. And we got probably the best home field advantage out of any of the 4 teams that are left besides maybe the Dodgers. So come on, JP. And 3-2 pitch, JP, line drive. And runner tags up. Gino coming home and sliding in. 10-3 M's. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Double digits. 10-3 Mariners with runners at first and second with 2 outs. Next up, left fielder Randy Arosarena. First pitch, big swing and a miss by Randy. 0-1 count. We got 554 in the room, TJ. Let's get us to 400. We should be able to hit 4 to 450 before this one's over. Yeah, but no one, would have even imagined the Mariners scoring 10, let alone 5 today. So, we have to be incredibly blessed. Marcos in the building. What's good? 0-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 swinging by Randy, but not after the damage is done. 10-3 Mariner lead. Let's fucking go. World Series, here we come. And we know we're going to have to earn it in Seattle, but having the next 3 games there with those fans, I like our chances. Nothing is given. We know we have to earn it, but 3 games in Seattle, up 2-0 already. Let's go. Next up for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 7th, left fielder Davis Schneider. Batting second, 0 for 2, shortstop in the 9-hole, Andres Jimenez. And back at the top of the order, 1 for 2 with a run and a base on ball, George Springer. And we gained 10 subs since the last commercial break. And now we only need 21 subs to get to 23,000. If you're one of the 537 in the room and haven't subbed to the channel just yet, 21 of y'all can get us to 23,000 subscribers. And we just hit 5 million views on the channel today. So we'll be going for 10 million as the next goal. And shout out to all the people that have liked, subbed, donated, commented, shared. This has been a wild ride and we are not done yet. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Incredible person, incredible talent, and we will be supporting each other for the rest of our lives. And as soon as he continues to make more and more, new music, we will be debuting it on the channel. Let's go. And they've already gone through Savage, Varland, Fluharty, Fisher, Rodriguez, and Bassett. We've gone through Gilbert, Bizzardo, and Vargas. And we will see if they decide to keep Vargas out there or not. I don't know if I would really want him out there more than 1 inning, but I get it. We're up by 7. But anyone that has watched Carlos Vargas, we know that you can get maybe an out or 2 here and there, but do we really feel comfortable pitching him for long periods of time? Again, at any given moment, he could give up 1 to 4 runs, and we've seen it happen many, many times. So hopefully this will be the good Vargas, not the bad. And it's his birthday today, right? Not a whole lot of pressure, when you're up by this much, but he's still got to lock in. First pitch takes a strike looking high and inside. 0-1 count. And throw to first after he grounds out there to JP, and that is 1 away. Nice job, Vargas. We'll take ground outs and pop-ups all day. I don't expect you to retire the side on strikeouts ever. Nice job. Down goes Davis Schneider. Next up is Andres Jimenez. First pitch is high and inside. Sinker, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Andres Jimenez. Habu with a 5er. Appreciate you. Another $5 holla on the dono train. Thank you so much for your support. Can't wait for Wednesday either. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike from Vargas to Jimenez. Bottom of the 7th, 10-3 Mariner lead, and we already have a 1-0 lead in the series, and we're a couple innings away from going up 2-0 with 3 games in Seattle, and again, very exciting times here in the Pacific Northwest. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside, which probably should have been called ball, but was called strike. Got to keep it honest and even on both sides. 2 balls and 2 strikes. After that one gets fouled off high and away by Jimenez. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. 10-3 Mariner lead. Vargas's birthday is today, and hopefully he doesn't give up any runs. JC says we're at 331. Let's see if we can get to 400 with 531 in the room before the game is over. I think we can do that. Pitch is low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Andres Jimenez. I don't necessarily think he picked him because it was his birthday. I think he picked him because he didn't pitch yesterday and we're up, so someone has to play and, they might as well go with him while we're up by a lot rather than being tied or down, right? And Jimenez with the walk. And, and as good as someone could be on their birthday, getting an out here and there, he is definitely not going to be excluded from walking a guy or plunking a guy here and there. Runner goes to first. Jimenez off the walk. And next up is George Springer. First pitch is Springer, low and away. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour by the birthday boy, Carlos Vargas, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, fouled off right down the middle with the sinker. He's got good speed, Vargas. It's all really about location and confidence. 97 miles an hour right down the middle, fouled off. 1 ball and 1 strike from Vargas to Springer. And as long as we can extend guys, so we can rest up. Remember, we got tomorrow off, right? So guys are going to get the rest that they need. And then obviously we play on Wednesday and Thursday in Seattle. So popped up and Springer flied out to right. Victor Robles is there. And a nice combination, of pop-ups, ground outs. And again, you only really need Vargas to get 1 strikeout an inning. And sometimes you don't even need him to get 1. You just got to get a couple of cheap ground outs or pop-ups and let the defense do their job. 2 away. Next up is Nathan Lucas. 3 for 3 with a run and an RBI. He's having a great day. First pitch, takes a strike looking, high and away, 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch, high and away, no balls and 2 strikes from Carlos Vargas to Nathan Lucas. 0-2 pitch, high and inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nathan Lucas. Bottom of the 7th, 10-3 Mariner lead. And Lucas strikes out swinging, and that is the end of the 7th inning, 10-3 Mariners. All right, I'm going to go get my pup some fresh water and a snack, and we'll be right back at it for the top of the 8th inning. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Gained 7 more subs since the last commercial break. We needed 70 to start off the day to get to 23,000. And with your guys' love and support, now we only need 14. We got 514 in the room. If we can get 14 out of the 514, we're going to hit 23,000. We just hit 5 million views today on the channel. Congratulations to everyone that's been a part of that. And again, we are 2 innings away of going up 2-0 in the series. And this one feels really good, and also considering, my dad grew up living in LA and in Hawaii, and obviously lives in Oregon now with me here. And, he's been a Dodger fan since the 50s. And we always kind of joked, it would be crazy if we ever got a Mariner Dodger World Series. And we know the Dodgers go so often, if for them, it's like almost every year, they're in contention of going. It's like they've been a great team since the 50s. And for Seattle, it's been the kind of the opposite, right? We've only had 4 or 5 good teams in the last 4 years. But this is the best team that the Seattle Mariners have ever constructed. And we're definitely taking advantage of every moment of magic that we can create together. And it feels damn good to see the Seattle Mariners playing like this. Let's go. Chris Bassett still in there. First pitch to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Fouls it off high and away. 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch. Fouls that one off high and inside as Bassett tries to jam him and does. No balls and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. And again, if any Mariner fan, says, oh, I knew we were going to score 10, they're dead ass lying. No one even, potentially thought we would even get to 5 today. We were hoping, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And if we got to that number, that should be able to put us in a position to win. But it shows you if your bullpen is shaky, and we've gone through this as well, again, it can change the outcome of a game in a heartbeat. And luckily, our bullpen is the stronger bullpen out of the 2. And it definitely shows you, even the Tigers' bullpen was better than the Blue Jays, at least up to these first 2 games at this point. And even their starting pitching, right? You got 2 guys, right? And Gossman, and obviously with what you have, here today, but other than the 2 guys, that started it off in game 1 and Savage in game 2, other than those 2 guys, do you actually have another guy or 2 or 3 you can count on? It's not the same as the Seattle Mariners where, we're 5 deep, even though Wu is just getting back from the pack, but having Brian Wu and George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, Bryce Miller, we're definitely showing that we got one of the best pitching staffs as starters. We got one of the best rotations in the pen, great farm. And again, a great complement of role players with our superstars. And we got the guy that's the hottest in MLB right now, Jorge Palanco. Beautiful. And Raleigh fouls out to third, and that is 1 away. And down goes Cal Raleigh, and that is 1 away. Next up for Chris Bassett and the Blue Jays will be Julio Rodriguez, who started it off with a spectacular 3-run jack, right? Randy got hit on the elbow. He took first. Cal got walked, and then Julio went for a 3-run blast, and that was kind of the sign of things to come with a 3-0 lead early, even though the Blue Jays responded immediately in the first inning with 2 of their own and then 1 in the second to tie it up 3-3. But since the second inning, it has been all Mariners, and we have a nice 10-3 lead. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees by Bassett. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. One pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Bassett on the mound, Julio in the box. And shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. My boy. Top of the 8th, 10-3 Seattle lead. And it's crazy. It almost feels like a dream, like we knew that we had the talent, but it's all about, can they actually step up and make the plays when we need them to? And sometimes we did in the regular season, and sometimes we didn't. But since we've, got into the postseason, we have been locked in on another level. 1-2 pitch, high and inside by Bassett. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. And then we have a mound visit there with Alejandro Kirk and Chris Bassett, trying to find a way to be able to get a few of these outs here late. Let's go. Bassett on the mound, Julio in the box. Big swing and a miss by Julio, and that is strike 3. Nice punch out there by Chris Bassett, and that is 2 away. Next up, the best player in the playoffs at this point, Jorge Palanco. 2 for 4 with a 3-run homer. You know, obviously they really got the party started when he got 2 home runs on Skubal. And again, Skubal has only given up a multi-homer game. You know, this was the first time that he has done it since 2021. So you got to think 4 years it took for someone to hit 2 homers in a game off Skubal. And that was just the beginning, the icing on the cake of what we were to get later. And obviously coming up big with some big hits in ALDS Game 5 and obviously here today as well. As he pops up, Alejandro Kirk is there, and down goes Polo. And let's go to the bottom of the 8th inning with a 7-run lead. Trident's up, seize the moment. All right, we gained 4 more subs. We're going in the right direction. Now we only need 10 more to start the day off. We needed 70 subs to hit 23,000. We got 556 in the room. I know there's 10 people in the room that can sub to get us to 23,000. Let's get there, baby. Albert in the building. What's good? Appreciate you. And another $10 holla on the Dono train. And I've been a fan for 40 years, so I may look young, but I've been watching this team since the mid-'80s. And again, I'm the only one on YouTube that does pretty much every game. My goal going into this year was doing 155 of the 162 games. And the only reason that we would miss a game a month was to do WWE like pay-per-views or PLE, like WrestleMania or SummerSlam. But ever since WWE merged with ESPN and TKO, and they are trying to charge people $30 a month to watch, PLEs, I'm not going to do that. So, going into next year, my goal is to do every game unless I'm, sick or under the weather or something's going on. So, but we have been doing, 99% of the games, since I've been doing this. And, somebody needs to be able to represent for the Seattle Mariners in the right way. And I'm proud to be that guy for you guys. And again, it's been a long journey. I've been streaming for 13 years, 9 years on YouTube. Next year will be 14 years and my 10th year on YouTube. And it took a few years, to kind of have a breakout year. And, I'm just really proud that I can represent for the Seattle Mariners to the fullest. And we definitely have some of the best fans on YouTube in general here on these streams on the daily. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Let's see who's up next here in the bottom of the 8th for the Toronto Blue Jays. Next up, 0 for 3, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Batting second, third baseman in the cleanup spot, Addison Barger. And batting third, catcher in the 5-hole, Alejandro Kirk. And it's pretty rare. Obviously me and my dad are both Fanatics, and, he watches every single game beginning to end. And you got to think, how rare that is to be able to meet someone. I mean, it's one thing if you watch all the NBA games, 82 plus playoffs, that's a lot of commitment. NHL as well. Or even if you're watching football, the NFL and the college football season, somewhere in that 13 to 14 range in college football, all the way up to about 20 in the NFL. But if you're an MLB fan, 162 games plus playoffs, that's a lot of commitment. And I definitely have the commitment for not only you guys, but the Seattle Mariners. That is true. 2-0 pitch by Emerson Hancock. turns into 3-0 count to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And we'll see what M does here against Vladdy. And that ends up being a walk to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And Emerson hasn't been good since we moved him to the pen. You know, I know they have him on the roster, but he's just hasn't been very consistent when he's gotten opportunities. Next up is Addison Barger. We need a slow dribbler up the middle to JP, a throw to Naylor for a double play, or a strikeout first, and then a double play, and then we get out of this inning. Now, George Kirby is game 3. Castillo is game 4. They already released that information on the Seattle Mariner social media. So through Facebook, X, and Instagram, if you ever follow any of the things that I follow, I will always end up, liking, retweeting all the information. But it's already been publicized. We're going Kirby in game 3, Castillo in game 4, and then potentially Wu in game 5, either starting or coming out in the bullpen if he's not fully ready to pitch a full game. So. Crazy to think that Emerson Hancock might be worse than Carlos Vargas, but 1-0 pitch inside, 2 balls and no strikes to Emerson Hancock. But again, you know, a guy that hasn't pitched in a long time and all of a sudden he gets thrown out there. You know, you can't expect, every single player to play well, but this is a little ridiculous. Pitches outside, 3 balls and no strikes to Addison Barger. And it kind of makes us understand that we have frustrations with Vargas, but Vargas is better than Emerson at this point. I don't know if Caleb Ferguson is better than Emerson. Maybe they're the same, can't hit the strike zone. They're liabilities. I would rather have Logan Evans, rather than Emerson Hancock, but it is what it is. Could be worse. It could be Casey Legumina or someone else. So 3-0 pitch finally gets a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike to Addison Barger. Three-1 pitch in play and flies out to left, and that ends up being 1 away. Here we go. Come on, M. Next up, catcher Alejandro Kirk. And even though the Blue Jays are on the cusp of going down 2-0, one thing that is common with these 4 teams that are left in the ALCS and the NLCS, they all have great catchers. Alejandro Kirk, Cal Raleigh, we know Contreras, and then Will Smith. So again, if you have a good catcher, it really does make the difference, late in the postseason. First pitch from Hancock to Kirk, takes a strike looking low and at the knees. That probably should have been called ball, but he gets the strike call there. 0-1 count. And Hancock's delivery looks a little weird. He's like almost throwing sidearm. When did he turn into a sidearm throwing pitcher? Weird. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Alejandro Kirk. 1-1 pitch, low and away. I mean, especially if you're going to be throwing kind of, sidearm, of course the ball isn't going to be able to hit the zone, and then on top of that, if you're throwing, 95 to 97 miles an hour, it almost makes me feel like I'm watching Vargas. It's like you got that top end speed, but where's the accuracy? Where's the location? We need less speed and more location. 2-1 pitch, and that one's fouled back behind the plate to the Lone Depot sign there. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Alejandro Kirk. Did I think Seattle would take both games? No. I was really hoping, that they would, but realistically, I thought if we can win 1 out of 2, we're in great shape. But obviously, being up 2-0 in the series and having the next 3 games in Seattle, we could potentially sweep in 4, win in 5, or potentially win in 6 or 7 in Toronto if the Blue Jays were able to steal some in Seattle. But I'm hoping that we win in 4 or 5 and we can win in front of our fans because I think they deserve it. Pitch is high and inside. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Alejandro Kirk. 3-2 pitch, and that one is fouled off. Come on, Emerson. Appreciate that, Jason. We have almost 600 people in the room. Where are we at on the likes? How close are we to 400? If we haven't got some of those individuals to hit that like button yet, please do. I mean, we're on the cusp of getting to 70 subs to hit 23,000, which is a big accomplishment. Hitting 5 million views on the channel is a big accomplishment. We did that today, and it looks like we need 3 subs to go to hit our goal of 70 today. Are there 3 people in the room that can get us over the hump? And down he goes. I wish. And that's another individual on base. Pull him already. Golly. Runners at first and second with 1 out. And next up is Dalton Varsho. I know you got to go through 3 batters and whatnot, but we'll see where it goes here. First pitch to Varsho, fouls it off, 0-1 count. Pitch fouled off again, right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to Dalton Varsho. Come on, Emerson. All right, we hit the goal as that one goes towards that first baseline. $94 subs to go to 23,100. And we've gained 75 plus subs today. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired today. Appreciate you guys. We got 587 people in the room. Where are we at on the likes? Popped up. And Robles is there. 2 away. And Vladdy tags up from second and rumbles to third. Safe. Next up for Emerson Hancock is Ernie Clement. 1 for 3 with a run, with now runners on the corners at first and third and 2 outs. And I don't want them to score anymore. You know, I don't want to be greedy or anything, but I want to keep them at 3 for the rest of the game if we can. First pitch, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. Bottom of the 8th, 10-3 Mariner lead. Hancock on the mound, Ernie Clement in the box. 391. We need 9 more likes to get to 400. We easily can do that with almost 600 in the room. We should be able to hit somewhere between 400 and 500 before the stream is up. And Hancock with the 2-0 pitch. There we go. Lined out to center. Julio is there, and that is out number 3. And it obviously started off a little scary, right? We know that a game can shift immediately with bad bullpen pitching. And even though he ended up having a few rough pitches there, Julio ends up getting the job done. And no fly zone, strikes again. End of the 8th inning, 10-3 Mariners. And let's see if we can add on any more before this game is up. All right, Lauer is coming in for Bassett. All right, Eric Lauer coming in for the Blue Jays. Next up for the Mariners, 3 for 4 with a run, 2 RBIs and a K. The big grumper, Josh Naylor. Batting second, third baseman, good vibes only, Eugenio Suarez. And batting third, DHing in the 7-hole, Dominic Canzone. Actually, no, it won't be Dominic Canzone. It'll be Leo Rivas. We went Canzone, Garver, and then Rivas. I forgot. We'll go Leo. And hopefully Leo will be able to get something going. Love me some Leo Rivas. So we got Naylor, Gino, and then Rivas. Let's go. Well, we don't got any NFL or college football, so really the only choice is to do, the ALCS game number 2, Dodgers versus Brewers, or I'll take the day off and spend it with my pup and rest my voice for game number 3 on Wednesday and game number 4 on Thursday. So I haven't decided yet. There's a lot of prep that goes in. I'd have to delete all the Blue Jay stuff, all the Mariner stuff, and then get all the new photos for the Brewer players, all the new photos for the Dodger players, because it only allows me to carry like 100 total. So every time I do a game and I switch up to do another, that's more prep time, with not only making the thumbnail, but, getting everything situated and ready. And Master Boney is coming in to pinch it for Naylor. Great to see Miles there. So I haven't really decided yet if we're going to do that. I might just end up watching the game tonight and tomorrow, seeing how the Dodgers and Brewers play, and just giving myself a day off. I haven't had a day off in a minute. And then we'll be right back at it on Wednesday and Thursday, hopefully seeing the Mariners clinch a spot to the World Series. But again, if I do something tomorrow, it will be Brewers Dodgers game 2 and LCS. I haven't decided yet. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike, looking low and away. Great to see Miles Mastrobuoni in here. Eric Lauer on the mound, Mastrobuoni in the box. 0-2 pitch, low and away. I'd rather have Mastrobuoni than Luke Raley. And 1-2 pitch, takes strike 3 looking. And down goes Mastrobuoni. Nice job by Eric Lauer, and that's 1 away. And we don't really get to see Mastrobuoni photos that often, so. There he is. Next up is Eugenio Suarez. First pitch is high and away from Eric Lauer. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and no strikes to Eugenio Suarez. Top of the 9th, 10-3 Mariner lead. And again, it almost feels like a dream come true. It's like we've only really had like 5 good teams in the last 40 years. We've gone to the playoffs twice in the last 3. So we're starting to kind of turn the page and turn the corner, but we've only had a few good, like, standout years: 95, 97, 2000, 2001, 2022, and then now this year. But this is by far the best year that we've ever had. And we're definitely hungry. And we're definitely, ready for the opportunity to go to the World Series, but we have to earn it. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Eugenio Suarez. Let's go, Gino. Another individual that's due for a home run, but we might have to wait where the series transitions into Seattle before we get that big home run from him. But we did get big home runs by Julio Rodriguez, Josh Naylor, and Jorge Palanco. 2-2 pitch, and there we go. A nice single by Gino. Good vibes only, right in the gap. We like that, baby. Next up, one of my favorite players on the team, Leo Rivas. Great baseball IQ. Spent 10 years in the farm with 3 different teams. And a guy that can bunt, a guy that can, get singles, doubles, triples. And he's got a little bit more power in his frame rather than guys that look similar to him, like Cole Young, Ben Williamson, and J.P. Crawford. Those guys can go yard. But again, I feel even though Leo, looks small, he's got a little bit more pop in his bat than the other 3. And we'll see if Leo can get another hit here tonight. Just got everything that you would want. He can bunt. He's got speed. He can steal bags. He's got great baseball IQ. He's a great teammate. I just wish that we would have had him on the team over Dylan Moore early in the year, and we could have maybe got to 95 to 100 wins with him. Definitely could have got 5 more wins if he was on the team at the beginning rather than Dylan. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees, big swing and a miss. Even though Dylan did have 8-9 home runs early, like Polo, but then obviously hit a wall. And, we know how Dylan Moore ended up, obviously towards the end of the season. And I get it. They kept him because he's a utility player that can play many positions. But the key question you have to ask, are you good at any of the positions? And, I think we know that answer. In play, and Rivas flies out into right field, and that is 2 away. Next up is Victor Robles, 0 for 3 with a base on ball. Let's go, Victor. Yeah, well, again, it's always been about Dipoto, 54%. We never buy in. We ended up getting Randy at the deadline last year, who was one of the best, options. Now, we didn't know how terrible his ground ball defense would be in left field when we got him, but overall, it's been a success with him overall. And obviously getting Naylor and Gino at the deadline with Ferguson was huge, even though Ferguson has had more fuck-ups than great plays. But Gino and Naylor being teammates and then having them both come to Seattle and Gino already being here, one time before, everything kind of came together at the right time. And Jorge Palanco is showing you that he is Mr. October here in 2025. 2 balls and no strikes from Lauer to Robles. 2-0 pitch, low and away. 3 balls and no strikes to Victor Robles. Let's go, Victor. And imagine if we didn't have Victor Robles sacrifice his body in San Francisco and get hurt, how many more wins would we have gotten with that? Again, just those subtle little differences. Having Robles the whole year and having Leo Rivas over Dylan Moore, maybe we would have hit 100 wins. I think we, would have had a good chance of 95 to 100 for sure. 5 to 10 more wins with those 2 guys. Hell yeah. And pass ball as Gino ends up skipping into second. Safe. 3-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike to Victor Robles. 3-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, that should have been ball 4. And this is another one of those things, where it should be strike 3, inning over, and then they give them the ball, or we have an opportunity to have ball 4, and then you call it a strike 3 inches in. Come on! I'm sick and tired of this favoritism. I get it, we're up 10-3, but it's just the matter of fact. I'm just sick and tired of games being up 60-40, 70-30. Can we get 50-50, please? And Robles strikes out swinging, even though he should have been walked. But again, we are up 7. We are winning this game. I get it. I can't let anything slip through our fingers, though. Got to be able to point it out. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 9th inning. And let's close the door down on the Toronto Blue Jays and their fan base. And again, when it ends up being 2 inches inside, outside, high or low, and it's like the first pitch, who cares? It doesn't matter, right? If it's a ball or strike, it's the first pitch, right? It may be a factor later in that, at bat, but the ones that really piss me off are the ones where it's like 2-2, and then it's, strike 3 in the box, they call it a ball, and then the inning keeps going. And when that typically happens for, the Mariners or another team, what happens? If you extend the at-bat, eventually it ends up turning into a big RBI or home run, and that can change the momentum of a game. And we've seen it happen quite often where strike 3 doesn't get called and it turns into a walk, or it should be a walk and then it turns into strike 3. And, again, some of those things are unforgivable. But again, we are getting the ABS starting next year. And a lot of these umps that need LASIK, glasses, contacts, or maybe too old to be umping on this level, hopefully they'll be able to make the proper changes, because I can't wait for the ABS. It'll actually make these guys really earn their paycheck and, work hard and not just call whatever they want based on how they feel at the moment. Facts. Let's go to the bottom of the 9th inning, 10-3 Mariners. Let's see who's up next here for the Blue Jays. Next up for the Blue Jays, 0 for 3 with a K, filling in for Anthony Santander. That was a late scratch with back tightness. Davis Schneider. He's got the stash from the past, baby. Batting second, Shortstop in the 9-hole, Andres Jimenez. And leading it off at the very end, George Springer. And we'll see where this goes here for the Seattle Mariners. Let's go. And I'm curious on who they're bringing in here. We've went Gilbert, Bazardo, who didn't play yesterday, Vargas, and Hancock. Where do we go here? Sandy Alomar Sr., rest in peace. I have a lot of memories with Roberto Alomar and Sandy Alomar back when I was younger. It's a baseball family, the Alomars. Wow, they're sticking with Hancock? Oh my goodness. Wow. All right, Emerson. Let's try to get at least a couple ground outs or pop-ups here. I would expect only maybe one strikeout, if none, especially with a guy that's been wild like Vargas. Like, the most you're going to get strikeout-wise is usually one, and then if we just get a couple ground outs and pop-ups, or it might just be all ground outs and pop-ups. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Davis Schneider. One pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Hancock to Schneider. Come on, M. Two-one pitch, low and at the knees. 3 balls and 1 strike from Hancock to Schneider. Come on, M. And again, I don't got a whole lot of faith in Emerson Hancock ever since we moved him in the pen. I think that we should have went with Logan Evans instead. Now, I know Logan Evans hasn't really figured out how to win on the road, but if we're talking about situational baseball, give me the guy that's got the goggles and the swag rather than a guy like M that hasn't really lived up to his first-round pick potential from Georgia. I like Logan Evans a hell of a lot more, and Schneider ends up walking. Now we need a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. Next up is Andres Jimenez. Yeah, well, we're trying to keep everyone rested, and whatnot, and we do have a 7-run lead, so. First pitch from Hancock to Jimenez, high and away, 1-0 count. But again, Hancock can't hit the strike zone at all, and I don't know, his pitching delivery looks a hell of a lot different than it normally does. He has like this kind of sidearm kind of twitch to his throws, and it's, avoiding, when he throws it like that, you're avoiding the middle of the plate altogether. It's all inside or outside, but you're not even close. Pitch is inside, 2 balls and no strikes. It almost kind of makes me feel like I'm watching Vargas pitch, honestly, or Caleb Ferguson. 2-1 pitch. Fouls that one off high and in the zone, thank God. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Andres Jimenez. And again, it's not like Emerson pitches often. This is the first time that he's getting an opportunity, but if I had to choose between him or Logan Evans, give me Logan Evans. Logan seems like he's got a little bit more swagger and confidence in himself and his abilities. Let's go, baby. Bottom of the 9th, runner at first with no outs. We need a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. Let's go. So proud of the Seattle Mariner team, man. What a joy it's been to be able to call 99% of the games for you guys this year. We gained another 7 subs. 86 to go. To 23,100. Pitch fouled off, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Andres Jimenez. We're at 23,014. We needed 70 to get to 23,000. And we're just getting on the cusp of hitting 100 subs on this stream today. Let's go. And with 683 in the room, let's try to get to 500 likes before the stream ends. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Hancock to Jimenez. Come on now, let's go. Two-two pitch, big swing and a miss, and it's a miracle. M got a punch out. Let's go. There we go. Way to bring the electricity, Emerson Hancock. There you go. 1 away. Next up is George Springer. First pitch, high and inside, 1-0 count. But, I mean, Hancock is in that same category with Vargas and Ferguson. Not a whole lot of trust. Very wild. Can't really hit the strike zone. And all 3 of those guys, I'm not sure what they, have as far as in them, believing in themselves at this point in the season. But, hopefully those 3 will get better, as the year continues. Because at some point, in a crucial game, at some point, we may need to use one of those 3. Hancock, right, Vargas, or Caleb. I mean, preferably not, but, And Springer grounds out into the double play. Throw to first, and that is it. Let's go. Double play for Emerson Hancock. Final score, Seattle Mariners 10, Toronto Blue Jays 3, and we go up 2-0 in the series. And guess what? The next 3 games are in Seattle. World Series, here we come. We know we got to earn it. Nothing is going to be given to us, but we're in a great position. Up 2-0. Let's fucking go. If you get hot and healthy at the right time, anything can happen. Let's go, baby. Final score, Seattle Mariners 10, Toronto Blue Jays 3. And when the Mariners win, what do? We fucking dance. Mariners win! Mariners win! Mariners win! Fuck yeah! Let's go. Seattle Mariner fans, stand up. Let's go, baby. 2-0. I mean, again, a lot of us were just hoping to win 1 game and split, and we were thinking maybe game 2 would be that game that we would win. But then we come out and, get the job done with Jorge Palanco and Cal Raleigh in game 1. And then Polo, Naylor, as well as Julio Rodriguez get the job done with homers today. Pitching was fantastic. The Blue Jays have another meltdown. And again, life is good. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Shout out to all the people that liked, subbed, donated, commented, shared. Let's take a quick peek to see where we're at on the sub count. Looks like we gained a few more. 85 subs to go to 23,100. We hit 5 million views on the stream today. And again, shout out to all of the individuals that supported. Woohoo, getting us started with a tenner. Reflect matching it. And then with another $5 himself. Flying Monk with a $5. Monkey Kung Fu with a big 50. Appreciate you. Habu with a $5. And Albert with a tenner. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. And I appreciate you guys very, very much. And again, this one feels very, very good. It's so satisfying. And we know 2 more wins to get to the World Series, 4 more to win it, 6 more wins to be champions in 2025. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of the action later tonight between the Brewers and Dodgers. I'm going to be watching very closely. And then if I stream tomorrow, it will be Brewers-Dodgers game 2. But realistically, I'm probably going to give my voice a little bit of a rest and spend time with my pup. And I'll be live back on Wednesday for game 3, George Kirby on the bump, trying to be able to go up 3-0 against this Toronto Blue Jay team in Seattle at T-Mobile. You guys are awesome, and I love you. And I got one question for you. Who talks sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Final score, Mariners 10, Blue Jays 3. We go up 2-0 in the series. World Series, here we come. Love you. Appreciate you. Seize the moment. Tridents up. Let's go. Go M's.